All right, welcome everybody. This is CBSI presents Tales from Flipside number 5. I'm Dino, aka the Retro Pie Maker this week. So, everybody, introduce yourselves.
It's Ben S., also known as Paul of the South.
John Z with nothing witty to say tonight.
Oh,
I'm Matt DeVoe. Oh wait, no, he's coming later. I'm actually Scott.
That's it? Well,
we got Paul.
oh yeah.
He forgot himself.
P-Dub's here, and comics almost cost me my marriage.
Is this a segue right into Paul's problems?
We'll talk about it in a little bit.
it was good. I can vouch for the story because I was actually there. So this is a real life false problem.
Real quick, I wanted to start out our podcast. Dino and I handed out some flyers at Toledo Fantasticon. So if this is your first time listening, we do have a language warning. And that's about our only warning. So anything goes. If you take your kid to see Logan, you can take him to listen to this podcast.
This is way more tame than Logan.
Just a little bit.
And then I just want to shout out to a couple people. So at Toledo Comic Con, we had Brian Smith show up.
Brian Looper.
No, it was Brian Smith. It wasn't
What?
Brian Looper.
Oh,
Yeah, it
my
was Brian Smith. He showed up. He came.
Sorry,
by the booth.
Brian.
Yeah, he came up, showed by the booth, talked to us for like 2 days. So that was a good time. Made some deals. So shout out to him. Jacob Dunn too. Some guy was looking for gold keys and westerns, and I pointed him towards Z, and Z said he wasn't selling gold keys and westerns. He just buys them. So Jacob Dunn actually posted a link in I think it was Buy Sell Trade or something like that, and I gave him the guy's number, and they did the deal too. So just making deals when I'm not even there. So what can I say?
I've done a deal with Jacob Dunn. Very stand up dude.
Yep. Oh, for sure. And then I want to shout out 2 more people. Sean Weigarten. He our Forgotten 5 Comics. He brokered a deal. I can't get into the specifics of it, but it'll be a good deal for us, and more to come on that. And then
Thank you, Sean.
Yep, thanks, Sean. And then Steve LaPrade. I got a lot of feedback last couple of weeks about this RetroPie thing. So I want to thank everybody, especially him, because I built one for him. We're having a little problem with it, but he's gonna ship it back and I can get it fixed very easily, hopefully. But no, I appreciate everybody's comments, and
Yeah, keep the feedback coming.
yeah, for sure. So
And then I have a post ready to go on Flipside Google Plus. The artwork that Dino and I had on our flyers we handed out was done by a good friend of mine, Vivian. So I'm going to post that picture of the artwork and her email address if you're interested in having any original art done. And then also our tape, our podcast logo, was done by a gentleman named Max. So I'm going to send out his email, Instagram, and Facebook links. So I'll put those up live right now on the Google Plus.
good stuff. She did a really good job with that.
Yeah, that picture is awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. She did a rough draft and then let me do some edits, and then we were all on the same page, and she colored it up. It's pretty awesome.
Have you ever bought anything from her before?
I have, yeah. We've known her for a few years, and she made these paper mache little gnomes that were pretty cool. And then she also made a maybe I'll post that picture too in the comments on that post. But she made a like a movie theater scene where the one of the old monsters, I can't remember the name of it, Creature from the Black Lagoon, was I think coming out of the, I think it looked like it was coming out of the screen or something, and it was pretty sweet. I'll post that picture up.
Awesome.
Cool. So this week's episode, I almost denounced it the free cornbread episode, but I held myself back. So this week we're going to talk about just selling in general, like opening up a shop or Comic-Con prep. We're gonna do it up, man. We are going to pull back the veil, I guess, pull back the curtain in wrestling terms, and we're gonna let people in, I guess. So
Yeah, Trey a while ago sent us his top secret document that we're going to share as well.
yes, very top secret.
The secret behind the Illuminati.
Yes.
How you two can own a yacht.
in 3
You
easy
two can
steps.
pump and dump.
Right.
So, you want to lead it off, Paul? I guess you want to start asking the questions, or you wanna...
Yeah. So this question stemmed from a group of guys were talking about. I don't know. I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. Whoever asked this question, and my daughter's flipping out in the background. If you guys can hear that, sorry. But
At least it's not my dog this week.
right. Yeah, we could trade it up.
The night is still young.
Yeah, we could always flip. But anywho, so these guys were selling, they were asking us, what's the best outlet to sell? Because we eventually want to do a brick and mortar. But their first question was kind of, is eBay really the best online outlet? And I know there's other places to sell, like Amazon, obviously. I mean, eBay, of course, Amazon. There's other websites. But I don't know. What do you guys think about places to sell other than eBay? Obviously, I mean, a big plug we could do is for a marketplace that we're starting.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now that the best place probably still is eBay because just the amount of people on there. Amazon's like the Wild West over there.
I will tell you, I spent some time selling on Amazon. It's a different world. You get a lot of people not listing nearly as much information. Like I would put pictures up and I would be the only listing out of like hundreds with any pictures. And you just don't have a lot of control over it.
Did it help you though, listing with pictures and stuff? Did you get more clicks or something?
You can't really tell. And the thing is, you can't make your own listing. You've got to plug in where one exists unless you pay a premium fee now. They did finally start that. So like if you want to list a book and it's not on there, you're just hosed.
I tried to sell a toy on there and it wouldn't, no matter what I did. I reached out to one of our big Amazon guys in the group for help. And no matter what I did, it wouldn't let me list it unless I sent it to Amazon to sell.
Don't they take a higher percentage too?
If they've got to ship it, yeah. And I think their fees are a bit more. So
yeah, I think it was maybe they wanted to plug it into like, we'll ship it to you in prime speed or something. But I'm like, I don't want to lose my item and then just have it sit there out in space.
Yeah, and you can't combine shipping, and your shipping options are a little bit weird. Now, I will say certain items sell a little higher there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was about to ask,
them.
what's the actual advantage to even putting it on there?
I think you get a little bit
for higher.
You get a little bit more of like the girlfriend buying market or family buying market, I think. But it's got to be the right books. I don't know that variants do as well there. I think classics and keys do okay. But I'll tell you, I did it for like a year and a half, and I maybe got 20 sales. I mean, I didn't go crazy on it, but
plus
it was slow.
Buying on there is terrible too. You never know what you're getting.
If you're buying there, you need to research your seller. Even if you've got a lot of feedback, you got to look at their listing, read it, and go. But I will say, feedback there, you get maybe one feedback out of 20 transactions.
Yeah, so if I was going to start, if I had a large volume with myself or a friend, I'd probably start on eBay.
But let's talk about the marketplace as an option, because I don't think a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, definitely on the main webpage. Let's see, yeah, it's still pinned. And Ego has this post up basically saying, no setup fee, which is normally $50 through April 12th.
It's a very good deal.
Yeah, it's an amazing deal. And then there's an additional fee of 3% on sales, but that won't even start until
June or July, I think.
Yeah, I think June.
June for May for sales in May. So it's an incredible deal. It's basically our version, a way around the 13% that eBay takes from you when it combined with eBay and PayPal. It's about it's 13%.
Mm-hmm. And eBay is sort of going up. I think it's more of their discounts are going away, I guess.
Yeah, they knocked the top rate from 20% to 10%.
And store cost went up, and
yeah. And for those who don't know which website we're even talking about, it's on. If you go to comicbookinvest.com, and then
Marketplace.
yeah, sign up there, and then the shops are actually at marketplace.comicbookinvest.com.
And I think do you need a Google or a Gmail to log it to be a member of Google Plus? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long. If someone isn't a member of, so just go to Google. So Google Plus is kind of like Facebook, but we have our main page is Comic Book Speculation and Investing, CBSI, with our black and white logo. That's our main page with the pinned post to the marketplace to sign up. So look us up on there, and from there there's our Flipside page and stuff like that. If you're totally new, just thinking on the level of flyers that we handed out.
Well, Ben, you have a pretty good shop in the marketplace. You want to explain a little bit about it?
Yeah. I mean, I got with Inigo when he first went with the idea, and he was just kind of looking for a few people to at least test it, see how it was working and stuff like that. And I was like, sure, I don't really sell on eBay. I'll set one up. And so he kind of helped me through the process. I helped him kind of, test a lot of the stuff and, make sure everything worked and everything like that. But it works pretty much just not much different than any other comic book website that you go to. I mean, you go and you click on the book you want, buy it. Everything's checked out through PayPal. With an invoice, so there's really no risk to the buyer.
And Sean was saying on UD that just like you said, it's through PayPal. So if you're big on Instagram and people are leery of that, send them to your marketplace.
No, absolutely, and I'll be honest. I mean, what he set these things up 8-9 months ago, maybe.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yep.
I don't know how many exactly different transactions. I've probably had 60, 70 transactions or so, and I'm not sure that I mean, there's been some people specifically from CBSI, but there's a lot of the names that I don't recognize at all.
Yeah, most of the sales are people I'd never even heard of.
Yeah, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly. I mean, I've got it listed. I don't have. You guys have, Forgotten Five's got a much bigger Instagram following than I do. But I mean, I've got it listed on there. But I don't know if they're coming from Instagram. I don't know where they're coming from, or how they're even. I know that what's really.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh my God!
We lost him.
Mid-sentence.
Mid-sentence. I think that was Trey and Inigo cutting him off.
Yeah. Hey, where'd that document go that Trey sent us? It's gone.
Yeah.
I guess
there he is.
There he is.
Coded to where it's going to pull up 4 books
Ben,
from the shops.
You cut out like mid-sentence there. Like,
oh, I did.
Yeah, 30
About a
seconds
minute
ago.
Can you hear me now?
the last thing you said is you don't know where the people are coming from. Instagram or whatever.
Oh, boy, that was a long time ago. Whoops. All right. Well, so Inigo's got it linked through comicbookinvest.com to where at the end of every article, there's 4 books listed, and they're books from the shop. So if if it's an article about Adam Hughes, it will link 4 Adam Hughes books, and people click on them.
I don't know if it does that anymore.
No,
I think it still does. I think honestly, boys, I think that's where most of our, we don't know where people are. I bet you it's that. Like, people read the articles and they say, "Hey, I want to buy a book," and I bet you that's what it is.
Could be.
He turned it down some because they were giving flack for us saying it was pump and dumping to have it posted in the same article. So it's probably still there, but maybe not as aggressive as it was.
I want a big like porn shop style where it's pop-ups all the time, like Adam Hughes pop-ups, like 100 pop-ups. I'll talk to Inigo about that and see what he says.
The other thing about opening a shop, no matter where you open it, is if you get enough profits through PayPal. I don't know what the numbers are, but you run the risk of getting a W-2.
No, a 1099.
1099.
Oh, my bad.
I know the numbers. I know the exact.
W-2 you get from your employer.
Correct. Z, you want to talk about it since you pretty much know. We know too, but
yeah, we'll talk about it. I will say there's some other marketplaces we should mention, but not necessarily right now.
Okay.
So the 1099 is from PayPal, not from eBay. So you've got to track sales from anywhere that's a not friends and family transaction. So any goods and services transaction. If you sell on Facebook, which we haven't talked about yet, Instagram, you sell anywhere that you use that goods and services.
Marketplace.
The marketplace, that all tracks together and goes to your aggregate total. Also, it's your full proceeds, every sale. So your shipping portion, which is what kind of caught me this year by surprise. So if you charge a shipping fee, that gets included, even though it's not really profit, it's part of your sale. Yeah, it's gross. But it is a combination. You have to have 20,000 in sales and 2,000 unique transaction, or 200 unique transactions.
Yeah, and is the big key there. You got to have both.
So you could have $1 million in sales on 2 transactions. They won't send you a 1099.
Or you can have $100 on.
No, you still have to have the 20,000. You have
$1 transactions, like 20,000 transactions for $1 each.
Yes,
and then you get.
Yeah. Now, being said, you should put it on your taxes regardless of getting the 1099. But the 1099 is caused with PayPal's agreement with the government is a 1099 at those levels. Amazon, I think, is 50 transactions regardless of dollars.
I think it was on
there might be a $5,000 cap too. I think it might be 5,000 or 50. So Amazon has something there.
Somebody I know was talking about how they've been audited by the IRS a handful of times, and now they do not throw out a receipt for anything ever because it's so painful if you get audited.
Well, we can talk about that, at least from our side of the business side of it, I guess, me and Scott. Like you can buy like software like QuickBooks that integrates into your PayPal. It's kind of free cornbread for people. And I know Scott uses it for ours, and it keeps track of all your stuff, right, Scotty?
Yeah, QuickBooks works great. I use it in my T-shirt business as well.
I just spent all of Friday trying to build mine because I am not organized, and I wasn't planning on selling anywhere near what I did this year, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, I have not sold anywhere near. You said 20,000?
20,000, yeah.
I wish.
I will say, and like, just FYI, trying to get your purchase history out of eBay, you can't. It doesn't like come out. It just lists that you did purchasing. You can't do like a.
I thought you could download it.
I think you can download it monthly, but I think after 90 days, they pretty much take all the information out.
Well, your sales, your sales are easy. They're on your invoice. They can be downloaded at PayPal. What you purchase, if you purchase supplies or inventory via eBay, you can see a list, but you've got to like pull that data out. I spent the day going through several hundred purchases and adding it to the spreadsheet.
I just logged in, and my oldest purchase that I show is from January of this year. Everything else is gone.
Yep. So
purchase wise,
I think that's because do you not use a store?
Yeah. So I do not have a store on eBay.
I think that is one advantage of the store I've noticed is it keeps more information because I think I've got everything back to where I started my store.
Correct.
I go back to 2015, but I don't have anything prior to that.
Yep. That is correct. If you have a store, it keeps it from the time you start the store until, whatever.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just so for people, so like if people don't have a store and like want to buy just on a small scale, what I usually do is if you get emails, like you bought something, like eBay sends you an email, like, oh, you bought this or you won this or whatever. What I do is I take a Microsoft PDF printer thing, like PDF print it, and then I stick it in like Google Drive and like receipts folder, and then you always have it. So
that's a good idea. I mean, that was one of those things I never thought about because sold some little bits at a time, and then all of a sudden just had a really crazy year.
Yeah,
but depending on what you're buying, though, pretty much doesn't everybody use PayPal to purchase things as well? So it's going to show up on your purchase history in PayPal, right?
Yeah, but you got to sort out what's what there because
that's where QuickBooks helps out tremendously.
Yes, probably. Like I didn't use all that. Plus, you purchase things through PayPal that aren't on eBay and they aren't related, and you've got to sort what they are. I mean, I had. And then you've got the friends and family transactions that all get jumbled in there. And there's probably 20 different types of transactions when you download your PayPal.
And these
list.
guys are saying currently what they do is they resell at cons or privately. And again, their goal is to go brick and mortar. And I don't think any of us here would recommend going brick and mortar in this day and age. I know it sounds awesome, and going into your local shop is pretty fun and nostalgic, but I think it's just too hard these days.
It's way too risky.
Yeah, I guess I could talk about that.
Because
I mean,
like F5, you guys were eBay store, and now you guys have your own website as well.
I have some thoughts on it too, but I'll let Dino go first.
Oh, okay. So we when we established Forgotten Five Comics, what we kind of did was we said, or at least I kind of, I guess I would say, forged the idea. I guess I was going to open a store, and I talked to a couple of people who have stores, and I said, I don't have that much stuff. What do you think we should do? Once you have a store, you need X amount of listings, and then all this other stuff. And I thought, let's do the store thing. And I got Tony and
Dino, let me pause you for a second. Just explain to people what a store is, because
okay, so a store is it's like an upgraded account on eBay. So everybody starts out with your own personal account, and then for a nominal fee, I don't have the numbers with me, but it's like
$24.99, right?
And then $60. There's different tiers and levels that you can do.
And
but they reimburse you that 25 in shipping or something every month, don't they?
No, they don't.
No.
You get a bit of a discount on your list. No, you get free listings for 150 listings initially for the smaller one, and
200 or 300.
Yeah, the more you pay.
Yeah. And then the other thing too is when you start out, you don't get like $1 million credit limit. You get like I think it's like 2,000 cap for the amount of your listings. So like you can't throw up like $100 million worth of books in the beginning. You'd have to set like, I think it's like a couple grand, and then grow and then grow and grow. So so basically you open up a store, and then you have X amount of listings, and then so that's what we basically did, and we kind of took it from there, and then had a bunch of listings, and that's what the shop pretty much is.
You get some more analytic tools too.
Yep.
What is it? The
dashboard.
The dashboard, yes.
Which they just upgraded, which is really nice.
I love it. It's great.
Tells you what you've sold, how much, when.
You can run sales and stuff too if you have a shop, right?
Yes, you can. You can put it on vacation as well. That's something.
Vacation is well worth it. Like if you go out for a week, you just say, "I'm going to shut down."
Yep.
You don't have to worry about taking the listings down.
Yes.
And then because I bought from those guys, and it says this seller is on vacation until such and such date. But sometimes even then I still get a message from the seller just saying, hey, I'm on vacation. So
you can even turn it off where they can't purchase at all, which is actually what I do.
That's what I think that's what we do too. And then the other thing too is just so everybody knows is when you're on vacation on a shop, it does say like return date, but I think you have to physically keep going back in the store and turning it on. So like
they do, because I forgot the other day.
Yeah, we did that.
don't come back and like, oh, it's like a week later and you think your shop's up, because it's not. So.
Yeah, we didn't have
sales.
Yeah, we didn't have sales for a week and a half, and then it was because the shop was still turned off.
Yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, man, eBay's been slow. Like we haven't even had offers, and then I was like, oh, because our store's not online.
All right, so my thoughts on brick and mortar, because I was just getting into comics when 2 shops opened in my town, which are now both closed. And I kind of talked to all those owners because I was really interested in it. I thought it was a cool idea. Not going to start one because, well, there are several there, and there's a bunch more in Indy, but half of those have since closed. But the biggest thing you've got to have is you got to have something to generate revenue besides comics. One of them was doing kind of records, used vinyl, so that kind of supplemented it.
Totally. Use Magic.
Magic is another thing, Pokemon, all that kind of stuff.
Like Warhammer, those guys have the big sorry to cut you off. My local shop is literally split down the middle, half comics and half, or one of my stores, and then the other half is all the stuff, cards and Warhammer and stuff like that.
Those Warhammer dudes are serious.
Yeah. And then the other shop, they kind of brought in their childhood collection, which was really not a lot in it, nothing great, and they overpriced it because they were just using some kind of off the rack comic pricing app, and you put in this book, and the Overstreet Guide price is $4 in near mint, but it's a book that's never going to sell for $0.25. It was all kind of priced like that. And then you've got to get your pull list, because your pull list keeps you going, but it's also your worst enemy if people don't pick it up.
Yeah. The other sub question was any organizational tools or software that you use. I know you guys just said the QuickBooks.
Yeah, QuickBooks is basically for basically tracking the financials. It's definitely not going to track your inventory. If you don't have a lot of inventory, I mean, Excel's probably the best bet. Other than that, you have to use a database if you have a lot of books, because it gets overwhelming, and the spreadsheets eventually you'll have issues with them.
Yep. And
Or you just keep them in a box and dig through them like I do.
I have that book somewhere.
So listen, my most simple thing, and when I list is I have a box or 2 boxes for eBay. These are books are up. Now I know you guys list a lot more than I do at any given time, but I'm kind of lazy. I hit about where my store should be and I just let it go.
Tony's our listing machine, so
yeah, awesome. He's a champ.
Well, that's because it's freezing up there and he can't leave his house 9 months of the year.
That's true too. Just don't tell him that. I don't want him to move. And then the other thing too is.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the other thing too is like the spreadsheet is like Google Drive's an amazing machine too. Like a lot of people I don't think know what. So Google Drive is like it comes on your Google account. If you go to drive.google.com and then log in, you have an access to like an online repository of all your files you can put in there, and you can access. It can be accessible anywhere, like on your phone or on your computer in a hotel room or anywhere like that. So not having it saved on your local hard drive is a good thing, and then it updates and it saves all your changes, and you don't have to save it, and it's always up to date. So just throwing that out there for people.
But make sure you save in multiple locations.
Yes.
Just in case.
Mm-hmm. And you can download the whole file after you get done to your desktop as a copy. So,
and I mean, you can use it for stuff outside comics, like family vacation pictures, and they have basically every Microsoft Office application they have in Google Documents as well.
Yeah, Sheets and Docs. Yeah, Google.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I really do like the Drive and the Google software.
The Google Drive is really nice, but the guys also the guys who posed this question, and again, I'm sorry, I looked for it. I can't remember who posed it. These 2 guys who are looking into opening their own store and yada yada, but they asked, just in general, any other advice?
Location.
Yeah. Watch your overhead.
Inventory sitting will kill you because you're paying, you're paying half price on these books at a couple bucks a pop. If they're not moving, it's just sitting. If you move into dollar books, then you're still losing half.
I still think even with a brick and mortar location that you still have to sell on eBay.
Okay, so I guess I can attest to that a little bit. So Big Ben's Comics, Detroit's own Big Ben's Comics. Everybody knows them, at least even in the Detroit area. So I read an article, I think it was like a year ago maybe. They still do I would say 60% of their business, 70% of their business is on eBay. And 30% a pull list. So I mean,
wow.
There are stores that don't, but they're established already. They have customers that have been there for decades, and they have pull lists that are several boxes every week that people religiously pick up. But if you're starting fresh, you don't have those subscribers, so you're going to have to buy books. You have to speculate like we do of which books are going to sell, which customers are going to come in. Is it kids' books? Is it Spider-Man? Is it this? Is it that? And there's so many things you can pick.
Plus, is there another shop already in your area? I mean, what's your competition? I know I went into a small shop that has been here for 2 years that I never knew existed till I don't know if they paid for it, but there was an advertisement on Facebook for a sale. And I bought some books from them, and they had stickers still on the books from where they bought it. So guess where I'm going to go and dig next? Where they bought the books, which is it's a local antique shop. So guess where I'm go dig it.
Yeah, you never want to reveal your sources.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I will say, I mean, I go to a lot of shops because I travel a lot, so I see a lot of different stores. And some of these stores they have to be thriving because, I mean, some of these stores have 4, 5, 6 employees. So, I mean, it's not like it's just some guy that's just hanging around, on his retirement. I mean, there's people that are I mean, they're paying people salaries and stuff. So somebody's got to be making decent money at it. Now, I would say that some of these stores I know, not necessarily eBay, but they do go to some cons and stuff like that to supplement and blow out some inventory that they probably wouldn't be able to sell in their stores. So that's another, kind of thought.
Yeah, like I said, I think the established stores, they have an advantage. They've got people, they just have a base of customer, and they still usually supplement with some other sales items, pops and cards and all that stuff. But new shops, it's tough. I would bet the number of new shops that succeed is single-digit percentage.
Well, I mean, I would even take our experience. I mean, like we talked about brick and mortar, but it's like, first of all, it's like the overhead kills you. You got to pay rent on a building. You got to
rent utilities.
Yeah.
And you can't, I mean, unless you hire staff, you can't have a second job.
No.
Well, and then you got to watch the place too. I mean, I'm not saying comic book employees are,
Says the guy from Detroit.
Well, that's true too. I never seen a deal I can't pass up.
Well, just think, if you're making $2 a book, that's generous. $4 titles, you're making half. If you're ordering enough and all that, minus taxes and all that, let's call it $2 a book. How many books do you got to sell to pay rent and electric?
Well, another question, I guess, that I hadn't thought of is what if what if you want to go brick and mortar, you're listening to this, you're like, never mind. But 6 months down the road, your LCS is, or on Craigslist, you see somebody selling their whole store. I mean, I would think everything would apply.
Well, that's a different question then. Do they have a customer base? Do they have inventory? Are you getting a good deal?
Yeah. What are their sales like?
If there were a shop selling out, that would be something I would have to at least think about, because I like the idea. I don't think I actually could do it, but if you were getting inventory and they just weren't running their business efficiently,
that's
could
true.
you take that on a deal and make it go? But those are still the same questions.
Or do they just have garbage books?
Very true.
Comic shop rescue, like bar rescue.
Yes, I mean some people honestly aren't made to run their own business. It's not easy. There's a lot of factors you got to think about. Sometimes people don't even factor in all the true costs of running a business.
Some comic people aren't friendly either, which is not a good thing when you want to.
No, you have to basically eat a lot of shit when you own your own business.
Well, and we can contest that too. Like, we only opened an online business, and I wouldn't. Would you, Scott? It hasn't been challenging, but I mean, it's tough. I mean,
yeah, dealing with people's not easy.
Yeah.
I will say that I also, the shops that when I do travel, that I tend to go back to, one are stores that will restock back issues, and two are trying to kind of think outside of the box as to either rewards programs,
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that last time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just those type of things. But I think unfortunately, a lot of people that are starting these stores or whatever that are failing are probably not. They're just thinking, hey, I'm going to get X amount of books and I'm going to sell these books for this price, and that's what I'm going to do, and not thinking outside of the box of, hey, I could have a book once a week that is one of the price falling book contests or something like that, where the book, the price of the book falls every day or something until somebody buys it. They don't think like that. They think, oh no, this book's worth $800. I'm not asking for a penny less than $800.
And that's a good point too.
You got to engage people.
Museum versus a place to sell.
Yeah.
What?
People call it a museum, a comic museum, when they do that. Like when they price it. I had an owner that, I was one of his better customers when he got keys in. Like he'd be like, "Come see what I got here. This is what I got on it. But for you, I can do this." Okay.
I call my mom's house a food museum.
Well, that's a whole nother story we can get into.
Well, we're not ready
Mike
for
Z is laughing there.
Too many problems for one night.
I do want to, before we move on to that subject, I mean, so let's think as a salesperson like I am. So, I mean, I make deals all the time, and like you said, Ben, if a book's $800, are you really going to, if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, Dino, I'll want to buy that book for $750, you think I'm going to walk away from $750 because I'm really on $50? I mean,
yeah, that was I had that written down from the Unpressables. Trey was saying that people are afraid to sell because they're not maximizing, because they think, well, 2 weeks from now or 6 months from now, it'll be worth $50 to $100.
You can't think like that because 2
Nah,
weeks from
you
now
have
it
to
could
make
be.
It's not worth it. Even if you know it's going to be worth $100 more, well, I guess it's different
cares?
thing if you know, but do you want to take that risk?
Don't ever look back.
Yep, and in 2
Take
weeks,
the money and put it into something else, flip it again, make some more money,
That's right.
and keep repeating the process.
and 2 weeks later, it could be down $100.
Could be.
Well, that's the other side of that equation. If you've got books that were hot and they're not,
Yeah, you got to
Sell
dump
'em.
them.
dump them. Don't sit on that. I mean,
Nope.
people get obsessed. It'll come back up. It'll come around.
Preacher One's a great example.
Outcast #1, another good
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
sold Outcast when it first came out for like 10 or 15 a pop, and
I wish I would have
I was
sold
okay
my
with
Outcast. Yeah.
I was okay
Yeah.
with it because you know what? I tripled or quadrupled my money. I'm out.
Yeah.
Move on
Preacher,
to
I
something
don't
else.
yeah, there's
Preacher
people
might-
sitting on boxes of dead spec.
I
Yeah,
don't
that-
mind sitting on some if you think it's still got potential, but sometimes you just got to cut the cord.
Well, exactly. You've got money tied up in this. If you spent 5 on it and you can get 3 out of it, take it and run. Same idea. If I've spent 50
Yeah.
and it's not worth 50, it's worth 30, and I have no chance it's coming back, especially like movie spec or something that you're like, I missed it. Let's cut it and put that 30 into something else and try and make 50 again.
I mean, think about what the retailers do, like J.C. Penney's, or
Mhm.
once the inventory is past its prime, 50% off. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Use the markdown manager in your eBay store, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're not-
Well, and the thing too is like everybody talks about, and this is just life in general, and everybody knows about this. Everybody always talks about the winners in life. I shot a 38 on a par 9 golf course, or I did the best, but nobody talks about the losses. It's always the good times. I went to a casino and made $1 million. Nobody talks about how you lost 3 million.
Yeah, he's still in the hole.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I mean that's almost like comics, like
Cool.
His stories are crazy.
and that's the thing too. Like everybody said, like, okay, so you're gonna take a loss on a book. Say you bought it at 50 or something, and it's you missed the window. It happens. It happens to us. It happens to everybody.
Mhm.
You missed the window, and it's down to 30. Sell it for 30, man. I mean, why?
In 2 weeks, it'll be 15.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why do you hate yourself? Don't hate yourself for doing it. Just say, hey, I lost on this one. I'll just make it up next time. I mean,
And learn from it. Remember
Yep.
it. Don't do it again.
Now,
Like,
none of this,
I do.
none of this applies to the big store in Denver. So, because I watched a video of his this week about what his price philosophy is, and he said he will never blow out any item. If it's older, then it's worth more, and he'll never blow out items.
Well,
That
but
sounds like
he's
a museum to
moving
me.
so many new books, he doesn't care. I mean, he's moving so much volume that it's irrelevant.
Oh no, I mean I'm just saying, just that idea of,
And he's a tourist trap too, so he's selling on his name that he established for selling high.
oh, absolutely.
That's not true though. He puts sales on his site.
He does put sales, but he says it'll never blow out. Like, I think that the video that he was walking through the store, I mean, he's got, what do you say, 900,000 trade paperbacks or something? I mean, something ridiculous. And he's like, and just rows, and you're like, well, these are never going to sell. But he's like, I don't care if they ever sell.
well, I mean, I picked up some deals from them. So I mean, I wouldn't say he put it on a deal, but they don't really update their pricing sometimes too. So
Before
Yeah, there's always exceptions. I mean, there's places that are just so big that it doesn't matter.
yeah.
before we are we good? Are we about to switch topics or no?
Well, I
I
wanna
got
go
all
back.
those.
We didn't talk about several other marketplaces you can use.
Well, all right. Well, this pertains to it, to the topic in general. The only one of the people that I think is fairly new is Ray Niederhausen. Sorry if I butchered your name, but he got a diamond account and has been doing pretty well. But he's in our chat right now, and he said that starting a comic business is tough in general, even at a low level. So I think he would agree that a brick and mortar is very, very risky.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could recommend it.
The plus side, you don't have to ship.
Yeah.
True. I think if we start this conversation in our Google Plus, I'll try and tag Ray to give some advice to if the guys who brought this topic up in the first place are there, maybe they can chat. But what other marketplaces are you thinking about, Z?
Well, I mean, okay. I mean, there's some ones that the CBSI shops I think are probably closest cousins to like Atomic Avenue or Comic Collector Live. Comic Collector Live, I was thinking.
Okay.
Don't give out all the sites, Jesus.
No, those are just. I mean, they're just marketplaces. They're same as everywhere else. They're good and they're bad.
Except when you buy from there, they don't ship the books.
No, they're pretty notorious. There's no accountability there.
Who have you not received books from?
Atomic Avenue. I've placed a few orders, and every time they cancel the order.
Oh yeah, I listed my whole collection by mistake. Yeah.
Same with Comic Collector Live. I mean, but it's a lot of that is people that just listed their collections and listed 1,000 books and never go back to it.
I could swear that from CCL, I purchased a lot within the period of a few months, and I can guarantee you I didn't receive a few of the books, but I can't remember which ones.
No, and they're terrible.
Problems, I just gave some money away. Why not? Right?
They're terrible. I mean, I will say, if you buy from a CBSI shop and we hear that something doesn't ship, they will be dealt with quickly. I mean, we don't put up with deadbeats in our community.
We haven't had one issue, knock on wood, since it started.
No, and
that's why we have extremely aggressive vetting process.
Agreed.
If you
but I mean, that's kind of the idea is somebody setting up their own kind of shops within the subgroup of a community. That's what those other ones are.
All with no risk.
But those are just anybody can kind of sign up and do it, and you see it. You see some people with terrible feedback. They don't ship. They don't do that. Mm-hmm. So same as eBay. Kind of look at who it is. Yeah.
So we protect our members. So if you join the Google Plus and you're on the main page and you want more, contribute more, and we'll get you in some other pages that we have. But the same with the marketplace. If you go and sign up tomorrow and we don't know you, you're not going to start selling books by Tuesday morning, kind of thing.
Before we move on to the actual like other areas,
we skipped like probably the other biggest selling venue.
Instagram.
I was going to say Instagram and Facebook. I mean,
okay, so Instagram's interesting because it's
variants and yellow labels sell.
Yeah, well, I think it's people who I don't want to generalize. I hate generalizing people, but Instagram I think are the people who couldn't hack it on eBay, and they moved to Instagram.
Well, my opinion on Instagram and Facebook is that people need to charge a fair price, because if you charge goods and services, you get a 3% PayPal fee. But these pages on Facebook that charge GPA, friends and family payments plus 20% of the GPA, I think.
That's retarded.
I don't like it. I'm in one of those groups, and I've sold in one of those groups, but it hasn't been it's been a while. It's been a long while, and I haven't bought into anything in a long while. But I think the mentality is, well, I'm only paying $5, so who cares if they're charging $75 more than what eBay is? I'm only paying $5.
And you're specifically talking raffles. I'm talking like there's probably hundreds of selling
straight sales too.
And freaking Facebook Live has changed the auction environment from.
It has.
What was it 2 years ago when CBSI started an auction group and tried to run it on the page? I ran it, and we tried to run it through Google Plus, and then some of the other Google Plus groups were trying to use Hangouts, but they all lagged, and they all, it was tough. You couldn't do what you really wanted it to do. And even on the marketplace, there's an auction form, which we've tried to use. It's just auctions are tough when you don't get a full, millions of views.
Right.
But Facebook Live has kind of really changed that market. I mean, I almost hate looking at my Facebook now because there are 15 live streams at any time of day with people buying books, and some of them are almost like addicts selling and buying.
How does that, but again, how do you determine if that there's not just complete shill bidding on that? I mean, you don't even know who.
You can't can't. And I saw one the other day, yesterday maybe.
Wild West.
They were doing a flip auction. So they had a pile of books. These are $5 books. These are $10 books. These are 20, 50, 100. And you tell me what you want to spend. And I flip the first 2 books over and you choose one of them. What? That's like just, I like to do razzes, but that's just straight up gambling.
I like that. Point me to that page.
But I mean,
sorry, Dino, I got a bunch of those you can do with me, Dino.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, they've got buy auctions, they've got live auctions, they've got. There's a store that's in Kentucky that I see on there every day selling stuff.
Sorry, this bag and board was empty, so you have to choose the other book.
I don't know.
You
get an X-Men one, Jim Lee, or a Spawn one.
Yeah.
I buy on Facebook, not a lot, but several times a year. I bet 8 transactions a year. But you're always feeling like you're gambling.
Yeah.
I buy on Instagram once in a while, and it's a little dicey, but if you pay goods and services, you protect yourself.
Yeah, always goods and services.
The scariest thing I ever did was a trade on Facebook.
Yeah, those are tough because there's no way to really hold each other accountable.
I traded we're talking close to $1,000 of items.
Wow.
But I had checked him out, and he had a lot of feedback, and a lot of people vouch, and it was still scary because you're waiting for that box.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I would recommend that unless you are very comfortable with people.
I was in another Facebook group that got shut down because it was figured out that they were scamming people in the videos. They were doing something. The timestamps weren't matching up. And they were flicking away from the time real fast. And basically they were just making sure their friends won. And then these moderators were deciding who's going to win what book, and just took thousands, if not more, dollars from all their members. So it's I'd rather open a brick and mortar comic store than try and buy a bunch of books off Facebook.
Well, I don't know. You get okay. You get some solid people there just selling.
I've gotten some great deals.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking about raffles again.
I'm gonna knock on wood that I got one coming that I hopefully is a really good deal that one of the members of the group helped me out with, but I could get the mail tomorrow and be like, son of a. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I've had some great deals. I launched 2398 for about $100 under GPA one time.
Nice. And we've talked about there's no matter how good you set it up, there's always those people, there's always that guy, the people who return books and it's not the book they sent, or if you sell a book on Facebook, everywhere. Yeah, you send it signature delivery and the box is empty, or all that, videotape yourself opening it, and just all the crazy stuff you have to do these days. It just, it makes the hobby, it sucks sometimes.
Well, once money gets pumped in, then
exactly
that draws them in.
Z, when you were talking about trades, to do a trade like that, I mean, didn't I see somewhere that some people will act as a third party middleman?
I've seen some people do that. I mean, I think it's happened probably in our group even. I don't think it happens too much as most of us know each other, but especially get some newer members in, or even elsewhere, there are people looking to do that. Just because it is scary. If you're talking big books, all right, $20 books, you can take a gamble, but if you talk 500, 1,000, somebody was asking the other day about I think we were talking multiple $1,000 books.
How would that work? So if I found a guy with my grail of Turtles #1 and for a trade, let alone if I had something to trade for that value, but
you have to have somebody both parties trust, which is tough on its own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you could use you could use the Comic Collateral guys or something like that, and
tell us about Comic Collateral real quick.
Oh yes,
how would they do that?
Yeah, so they basically, they're a reputable business, actual business. They've got liability insurance and all kind. They're
legit,
fully legit. They've got a presence at cons and stuff like that. So they're not just some.
They're visible,
right? They're visible. So each person, if you decided, hey, here's this $5,000 book, I've got this $5,000 book. We're both going to send them to Comic Collateral. They're going to check them, make sure that they're both legit, and then they will send them on with tracking numbers to both parties, and then they'll just take a small fee or whatever to broker the deal. Right.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah. Who else are you? Who are you going to do this with? That's the thing is, if two people don't know each other, they don't usually have common other people in the circle. So that's a tough thing. I mean, trading is scary.
Trading is scary.
I wish that we could kind of get back to where there would be kind of setups. I know Keith out in Denver had kind of set up a group where they meet up and they kind of trade and sell back and forth once a month.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, that's our.
I would love to start something like that in the Midwest, but it just feels really hard to try and get that group together
because it's always winter.
Winter is always here. I don't know. I keep kicking around the idea because I think it'd be great if you get people live and just let's sit up and try it.
I think there's interest in that. I mean, isn't there one down in like Southern Kentucky somewhere that does that? Like down in Bowling Green or something like that. I mean, it's out in the sticks or whatever, but it's just some guys that just they go and they trade and they open it up to anybody who else wants to come in and open trade or whatever.
It's called Indianapolis Comic-Con. Come see us.
Yeah, but everybody there's trying to make money. I mean, I think if you set it up as a just rent out a Marriott ballroom or not a ballroom but like just a little meeting room or something. Be able to hold, 15, a little banquet room, 15, 20 spots available or something like that. I mean, gosh, we used to do that with baseball cards back in the day. I mean, they'd be at little tiny hotels all over the place.
And that's how, I can segue on that too, because I got Toledo Comic-Con. That's how they started. Me and Paul were talking about that last week. They started in like a little Marriott, guys, and now they're in like a bigger building at the CA Convention Center. So, I mean, who knows, what that comes out of,
Yeah, that was a blast. I don't know. Do you want to jump topics to Comic-Con stuff?
I just have one last piece of advice. If you're opening up a store, you got to buy right, because that's pretty much where you make your money is when you buy. Don't ever overpay. Let the books walk if the guy wants too much.
And that's huge. I mean, and I'll elaborate on that because it's when you start being serious about this, it turns into a real business and it's not fun anymore because when you go and
can be fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying from a monetary standpoint, because you could go buy a, we'll say a ASM 129, right, for like market value, and you're in for a PC collection. Like, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna buy that, and it's gonna be mine. But when you're doing it for inventory for a business, you can't pay market value. You're never gonna make your money back.
Well, I got a great story on that from the con last week. So, and this kind of is where you kind of got to look at both sides of that deal. Is had a guy come up, started looking at my wall book, saying, "You got a Hulk 181? No. You looking for one? Who isn't? What would you pay for a very fine reprint? Like, I don't know. You'd have to see it, but if it was that high and that nice, it's probably a couple grand." So he keeps looking and comes back and he goes, "So I've got one in the car. I don't want to sell."
It melted? Was it Sean's car?
Yeah. Oh, God. So this was at day 2 into the con, probably 2 hours left. Goes out, comes back about 45 minutes later because I guess it was crowded. So this con was supposed to do 5,000 over the weekend if things went well. It was a first-time con. So realistically, I was going to think they'd do 3. They had 6,500 day 1. Like the fire marshal had to close it a couple times.
Wow. That's impressive.
And then day 2, they had close to 3. So, I mean, they cleared almost 10,000 people. It was huge. It was busy. It was crazy. I've never been so packed in. But he comes in back. And so I'm looking at it, and I've got another dealer happened to be standing next to me, and my brother was there, and we're looking at it, and I'm trying to give him a grade. To me, it looked like about a 5.5. Could win a half point up, a half point down, a few pressable defects. And the guy's looking at me going, "What are you going to offer?" And I'm sitting there going, what are the other dealers in the room going to offer? I mean, there were only a handful of dealers that really could move this because most of them were kind of junk dealers. But there was probably 3 or 4 in the room, and I knew one of the guys probably was the other dealer with enough money to do it, and maybe there were 2 others that could squeeze it out. But you've kind of got to be that guy that, where am I not going to lose this deal? Plus, this guy said he had a collection of bronze books that he's looking to move in the near future, maybe not today, but in the next 3 to 6 months. You don't want to be the cheap bastard that offered him 25% of market value. If you want repeat business, I'll go a little higher on that shot that you think I'm on it. So I actually thought about it pretty hard, and I gave him a number, and I called it. I was within 2 dealers offered him less. The other dealer offered him the same thing. He came back to me, said, I'll sell it to you. And I said, okay, I'll throw you another 25 and let's move on. Call me when you want to sell the rest.
Nice.
You know, you see, I'm not trying to hose you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big thing with us too. We're like, and I'll just finish this up. So, like us, that's what we kind of concentrate on. I concentrate on the customer service aspect of the thing. Like, if you really want a book and you're a genuine dude or a genuine girl, obviously, and really want a book, I'll always make a deal with you. I hate to be the Robin Hood of comics, but I rather give it to somebody who actually wants it than some dealer who's just trying to, 10 minutes later just turn around and flip it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. If you work a deal and you come back to that booth and it's up on the guy's wall or whatever, sends a message, I think.
On the Dino positive side, I kid you not, I saw a post on Facebook yesterday, I think. Yesterday morning I woke up and somebody commented on the con that me and my brother were at and told the story of us making a deal on a book for him. Huh. And he got 2 PC books out of the deal, and he bragged on Facebook. He didn't use our names or anything, but I was like, oh, you did good.
Dino, is your website back up?
Shortly.
Jesus.
I know, dude. Sorry, man.
We put your name everywhere.
I know.
Sorry, we were going to talk. So talking about Comic Cons in general. We were going to kind of, I don't know, maybe go A to Z as far as like pre-con prep, and what to do if you're getting ready for a con and blah, blah, blah. So
maybe we should post some pictures of our setups later when we get done.
No, because then people will copy it, and then I can't have a kill room, as I call it.
You're the kill machine.
Yeah, I know.
Shake their hand and block the exit, right?
Pretty much.
You guys had like twice the space we did at ours. Oh my god.
Yeah, we need more CBSI there because we could kill that show. I think we are. It was an amazing show, and Marty was his name, right, Dino?
Yeah, I sold a book from actually. So this is how badass I did. I sold a book who actually the guy promoted to a girl who was looking for that book in a matter of like 5 seconds.
Yeah, so the promoter, the guy who runs it, Marty, was in our booth with his books, and this lady came in and she was looking for something really obscure. And we're like, nah, I don't even know what the heck you're talking about.
It's like Ben C style. It was like hippies and smoking pot comics or something.
So Dino pulls one of these books out of this guy's the show owner or promoter, whatever, his box, and she's there, and just perfect timing. Like, oh, this? It's like, Jesus Christ, Dino. He just materialized it out of thin air. Oh, this one? Like,
ask and you shall receive.
Well, exactly. and then the funnier part was she goes, well, I only can pay on credit card. And he's like, oh, I don't have credit card. So me being a nice guy that I am, I said, how about this? You swipe it on my credit card, my PayPal reader. I'll give him the cash and we'll just make this deal happen. So,
and I don't know what other, that was awesome, man. But, and I don't know what other dealers do, but, the 3% on PayPal transactions, I eat it at shows.
I do.
I think you sometimes ask though, like if you're negotiating on a big book, the small books you don't worry about $10 and $20 transaction. But if somebody's on your wall and looking at a $500,000 book, it doesn't hurt to ask, are you paying cash or card?
Yeah.
So you know where you're at.
It happened to me when a guy worked a deal and then he just said, you take card, right? I'm like, God damn it.
That's why I think you got to ask. I mean, yeah, you don't worry about on little stuff, but you get to those big books and you're going to take a pretty hefty fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not even just that. I mean, just the fact that cash transaction is basically untraceable.
Cash
we don't talk about that, then.
No, you write those down and track them for
citizens.
If you're running a business, you got to have cash sales to hide.
You write those. You write it down and log it for the IRS. What the hell are you talking about?
And then you turn that, and then you turn all your little loose leaf pieces of paper to the IRS at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, though, having that little PayPal, what is it? The PayPal swipe or
yep. or Square. I know Comic Collateral guys got me on Square too. So Square or PayPal.
Whatever it is, those are worth having because
And they're
I would have
free.
lost quite a few sales not having them. And people will just get to the end of the day and are like, man, I want to buy that, but
Here's the bottom line with people. You need to have that impulse. Like they need to be like, okay, I can have that book and I can have it right now. And if you don't have that credit card reader, you're definitely going to lose sales because you give people 5 minutes to think about it. They might say, you know what? I don't need that book now.
Yeah, when if they don't see all of your PayPal signs that are all over the place and they're thinking about a book, you say, well, we take card too.
Yep.
But it does work on the flip side for the buyer. They got that cash in hand, and that dealer wants to make the sale, and they're holding that cash. It's a good plus for them.
You as the seller just need to be prepared for the buyer not to be ready. Because I don't know how many sales we made at IndieCon last year on the swipe.
Oh, dude. I mean, me and Z can talk about this because we kind of started the whole IndieCon thing together. I think me and you, right?
Yeah, we lost a ton that first year because we both were going to bring it and we both forgot.
Yeah. So,
we can definitely get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, a tip. Yeah, we can get in that. I was going to talk about pre-con prep stuff, but real quick,
let's talk about pre-con prep stuff and then we'll get down into it.
Yeah.
Before I forget about the PayPal swipe, though, with the PayPal here or PayPal Now app or whatever, you don't need a swipe. You can punch in their credit card number.
But they charge you a higher fee.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul's problem was his phone wasn't cooperating. Another Paul's problem.
Yeah, that goddamn swipe thing. I'd have to tilt it at a certain angle, and I wanted to rage smash my phone.
It was a Rube Goldberg setup, man. It
takes more time, and we had the open layout, and we'd have people everywhere. If I had to type it in, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, I tell you, it does take time. But with the first thing we have for pre-con prep is organization and pricing your books.
Please don't have dirty bags either.
Yes.
Come on, man. That means it's vintage. Want to buy it.
That I'll tell you what. I will not look through a box that's all dirty. Like I'm not going to do it. If you don't have your stuff organized and it's not like at least not dirty, I'm not even going to bother.
The smoky cat piss.
I bought 2 or 3 small lots for the show, and one of them was, it was old bags, but they were at least clean. The other one I bought, and they were the nastiest bags you've ever seen. I didn't look at them close when I bought it, and it was a deal Dino sent me to, which thank you. I made some money on it, not a ton, but I did all right. It was some stock.
Yeah, you don't worry about that. I always give you good deals.
I had to rebag freaking 3 long boxes of books.
That takes time.
Z, along that avenue, you sent me to a deal.
Oh yeah,
from Facebook, and this lady was local, and I go to her house, and she smokes in her house, and has rescue cats. So
the double whammy.
The double whammy smoke. I mean, unless she used it as a bathroom herself, smoking cat piss.
Possibly will meet this.
Exactly. We're on these books. And so my wife a while ago bought like a ozone machine, which you use for like after fires and stuff to get the smell out because her parents smoke in their house, and we bought it for, I don't know why. I bought it because she wanted it. And so I used it on these books and I think it goes for like 120 minutes or something like that. But I blasted these books at least 3 times, and it got the smell out. And I put them in my boxes and sold them. And some of the trades that I had were those as well. And I mean, I didn't just blast them with this machine and then put them in a box. I tested them myself. I gave them the sniff test, but it was good. So I mean, you can buy books, you can bring them back to life from down there. But I agree. Bags and boards that look nice, sell your books.
You got to look presentable.
And I want to bring that up too. I want to talk about Paul. Paul has. I know Paul's going to do Paul's problems, but I'm gonna talk to him, and we're going to talk about how he labeled and organized his books, because he made my books look like absolute dog shit. The way, and it was the best thing. And Paul, I'm going to copy your idea once you talk about it right now. And I told Scott about it, so it's awesome.
Yeah, we're already on it.
Yeah, Paul's problems are littered throughout this episode because you can't take me to an event without something going wrong. But so I got BCW dividers, and they had different colors. So I grabbed red just because I figured it'd pop, and I bought it first of all for my PC collection of turtles. And I figured I went with red because the original turtles had all red bandanas, and also it's just nice bright red. It pops. And I bought, I can't remember, maybe 200 or something. I can't remember for sure, but I bought them for my PC and then also to set up for this con, because I learned from Indy that your books need to be, you need to know where your books are for when someone comes and says, do you have any G.I. Joe, or do you have any whatever? So I did this, and I labeled. So I bought a label maker as well, and on these BCW dividers, I divided my books by type. So I had Batman, Catwoman, whatever, and then afterward, I labeled them on both sides because I didn't know how the con was going to be set up. Because if I'm behind the table, then all of these dividers just have a white box. So I don't know what they're looking at. Do you have any Batman somewhere? So I labeled it on both sides. So that's a free
good idea
tip. And then also then when I was all done, the day I was loading up for the con, I brought them down to my living room. I laid all the boxes out, took all the lids off, and I moved all my books around so they were in somewhat alphabetical order as well. And I can post some pictures of those, but it looked really nice. The red really popped. And the Paul's problem, I started off the podcast that it almost cost me my marriage, was I put a lot of time into sorting these books. I put too much time.
You probably lost money and time.
Well, maybe. I took some vacation time, so probably. But
the thing is, you would have spent that time doing it anyways.
I would have, but
let me ask you something, Paul. You put all the time and effort in, but did it pay off?
Absolutely, yeah. I was just gonna say, I put a label on every book. Dollar boxes. I put a sticker on every book. I put my initials, PW, and then I put a cash sign. And some of them I had $1, some of them I had blank and filled in. But I did that because it's just, I don't know, because I'm anal retentive like that, but also because if I go to Indy or another show and I set up next to you guys and someone grabs a handful of my books and then a handful of Z books and a handful of Dino books and goes to check out, you know whose books they are.
Yep, that's a big thing.
That's another big help. But as far as my marriage goes, like I took two vacations and just rolled it into a long weekend to prepare for this con, and I still didn't get all the way prepared. I had a long box of Spider-Man that I didn't get to price, but my wife was pretty upset. I mean, she was saying, she was exaggerating, but she's like, yeah, I didn't see you for 3 months because you're getting ready for this con, but we're expecting a baby in June, so some extra help is needed and things like that. So I totally understand where she's coming from, and I can't give her enough credit for bearing with me. But it definitely paid off, Scott, because I made a lot. I made as much money in day one that I thought I'd make the whole weekend, if that.
Nice.
And I put it towards, I paid next month's rent. I still had money left over and stuff like that. So if you put the time into it and you get a good spot at a good con, it'll definitely pay off. I can post links to that BCW dividers and the label maker that I got, but it was great. People found what they needed right away. It wasn't, where's this? It was.
And then it came to Dino's side of the table. And I was like, what the hell is this shit? And just walked away.
But honestly, pricing is a very big thing because you don't.
It's a huge project.
You don't want to have to talk like, how much is this book? How much is that book? And you got to remember it. And if you're not there, then if somebody's watching your booth, they're not going to be able to tell how much it is.
Yeah.
Dino learned this one the first year at Indy. He priced on the back.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be cool and slick and be like, well, everybody wants to see the cover, and then I said I'll put them on the back, and then everybody was like, how much is this book? And I spent the whole con flipping books, and I'm like, this is stupid.
People want to look at your wall and see if you're fairly priced or not, because if you have crazy prices, they aren't even going to stop.
You didn't flip them in the good way.
Oh no, I was a rookie back then, man. I was just a rookie.
And I will say, when you're doing this sortation or whatever you're doing, it's going to take some time and some space. Like my living room was a disaster for probably 2 weeks.
I have the basement downstairs, which I have a big, like I have the inefficient IKEA way from that one post, but I have it all laid out in the basement, and that's what I kind of do. Just lay it out and say I have 4 short boxes now because I kind of sold a bunch at Toledo, but yeah, I'll just sit down and just, to be honest, boys, I mean, if you're single or you're married or whatever, you just knock it out at nights for an hour a day, an hour a day, and it'll get done. It'll seem monumentous, but it'll get done.
Well, my brother was doing his first con with me, and I kept telling him, start now. He goes, I'm going to start. I'm going to sort them. And he didn't have it all ready. He didn't have everything priced. He was still pricing last day, and he didn't organize his dollar boxes the same way. He had some organization, but not much. Like this is the manufacturer, but not in order. I did mine. I've done it different ways, different shows. This time I bought 3 new collections of a couple of long boxes each, and I put all the nice stuff out. So if you're going to price it as a wall book or above, I pulled that out and set that aside. If I'm going to do it as like a $5 book, you put that in a pile. If you're going to price it as dollar books, okay, put that in this area. And then you got to sort them somehow. If you don't sort them, you're going to lose some sales.
How do you sort your dollar boxes?
I did it just pure alphabetical or rough alphabetical this time.
I do alphabetically too on mine. And the guy I got them from, he did, and I'll even tell him I got some boxes from Joe Yang, and he had them already alphabetized for me, and had like the cardboard setup, but not the BCW ones. He made his own and had A, B, C, D written on it. So signage is a big thing too. Let's talk about that too.
Yeah, I had people come up to me and like, do you have any of this? Yes. And there were like people looking for a specific issue. Yeah, I have it. And
I like
a little overboard too. Like I didn't go issue and then all this necessarily. I would just at least get them in the A's or near the right spot sometimes if you're in a hurry.
Yeah, I want to say real quick on that. Good luck. I mean, props to you for pricing your dollar boxes. Mine were mishmash still from.
I don't price.
Sorting them. I didn't sort my dollar boxes because I just did that as thrill of the hunt. Here's one long box and one short.
Well, I had a lot of runs too, partial runs. So like one of the collection Dino had pointed out to me had like a partial run of Animal Man and all kinds of these weird books. So people find one and they're like, "Oh, there's another. Mm-hmm. And as you guys have seen in the past, I price mine to incentivize bulk purchasing. So I like to buy $5 books and get 1 free, buy 10 and get 3 free. The second day of the con, I did like buy 20, get 10 free.
Well, let's talk about that too.
And then they see one, they see another. Ooh. And next thing you know, they're like, well, then I may as well buy X more.
Yep. Yeah. Dino's trying to hop on a topic, but I had one last point. Sorry, man. I wanted to say
house.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, so dollar bins for me were just mishmash, but I had miscellaneous, which weren't big enough to really give a label. So if I could go back, I would have labeled my miscellaneous by I would have alphabetized my miscellaneous. And then after that, I did like Batman and stuff like that.
So I've seen people that do that instead of putting like miscellaneous A, miscellaneous B, they'll put it behind Batman. If it's brave and the bold and all that. At least it's in a letter. Hey, I got Batman. The B's are behind it.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, there's many different ways to do it. But sorry, Dino.
No. I just want to continue on. This is good stuff. I want to say the other thing too is like when you split books or you're splitting a booth with people. And we do that. We do it at Indy, and I know the Z do it
this year.
Yep. And the Z boys do it together. Is label your books and know where your books are at all times. Because when people grab and try to check out at your booth, you need to know really quick. You can't be sitting there for 15 minutes trying to figure out whose book's who and stuff like that. I know we kind of came up with
this book. What box did you pull it out of?
Yeah. And then the Indy way, we kind of do it in Indy is we always put initials on all our books, so we all know whose books is what. Because you have multiples or duplicates and stuff like that. So that's a little tidbit for people. If you're sharing booths and stuff like that, is initially your books. So, we do I think, what is it? Paul Avery label, I think. And then put our initials and a dollar sign and then write the number in. But there's other people, dot, you can do a dot and put your initials in the number,
Yeah, just have it so you can separate. Like the dollar bins, I never label. And usually like Mike and I, we're like, they took most of them out of yours. I'll give you 25% of what they just bought, or you guesstimate. I don't care over $1 book, but with your regular stuff, be sure you know what you have.
Correct. That's the other thing too, is like we do really well at indie, and knowing what you have is a big thing too. Because if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, hey Z, do you have you have a spectacular Spider-Man," and you don't know that, and then you got to go look, and you're like, I don't know if I have it or not, and then they walk away, and then you find it, that guy's gone. He's not coming back.
Yeah, I lost a couple sales this year because I had so much new inventory. I didn't remember a couple books. It wasn't anything killer, but still, like, I'd flip through the box later and go, crud.
That goes back to that impulsive sale. Like, you got to get them before they have time to think.
Yep.
Do you have any 70s horror books? No, I don't know any of those. And then I look and go, oh, hell, I have 4 or 5 right there.
Did you guys set up your table like you did at IndieCon last year, where it's that open concept where people could go up to the wall and stuff?
Yep. That's my new way, man. What I do is this, I guess for me and the way I sell is totally different from everybody else, but I like the interaction between people. I like people coming right up to my wall and seeing what they got, not like a barricade where I got to go grab a book or something like that. I want them to be
it does feel standoffish.
Yep. I wanted to be in my booth. I'm going to shake their hand. I'm going to say, "Hey man, what are you looking for?" And I'm going to, and I'm going to start to sell right then and there because I'm going to get them comfortable. And then
well, I tell you what,
I got to point to that. Like,
both booth design though is important because what type of booth? Like Indie, they do the cubes and everybody's got outer walls. This one I was at, they just had, you were all next to each other. So it was a row of like 10 of us. So if I set up with a table in front, I only had 10 feet. If I set it on the side, I had to have my books facing each other as opposed to out. So I would have 2 people in there digging, and then I'd still have people walking back and forth. It was tight. So take that into consideration. I mean, I liked the setup still so people can look, but man, our booth was tight because we didn't have a corner.
Well, yeah, we had a corner.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we had a corner, and then we had an artist next to us who kind of registered late, so he didn't have any books next to us, which was awesome. So we could like move out a little bit if we wanted to. But I do. So I guess for me, the way we lay it out kind of is the wall's always on the back, and I put the tables on the side, and then it depends how many people are in the booth and how many times you're splitting it. But that's how I kind of do it. So it's like a big U shape. That's what I kind of do. So
talk about the
remember though, you don't. If you have an open U shape, you may not have anywhere to sit. I mean, I stood up 10 hours times 2 days and was just constantly moving around because you're always in the way.
Well, I guess Paul was kind of talking about this.
Indie's a little bigger venue, so it's not going to be as problematic for us. But know your venue is kind of where I'm at.
Correct. And then so I know Paul kind of didn't want to cornbread this out, but I'm going to cornbread it out anyways.
It's all good.
So I bought a mat on Amazon, like the fatigue mats, but like the puzzle pieces that you lay down like at a gym or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I threw it on I throw it down. It's like $20, and me and Paul, it helped tremendously. I mean, your feet still hurt, but it's not like you can't walk the next day.
I could say because I have one for my my t-shirt business. Mine was like $300 though, but it was the best $300 I ever spent.
Mm-hmm.
This is like if you just Amazon, since we're giving if you just Amazon gym floor, it'll come up as that puzzle stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We were in a theater, like an actual like ballroom, so it would have been weird because it was like fancy in there, and then to bring that in. But you got to know the size of your booth and what you have, because man, this one was. I have never been so packed.
I mean, me and Z, I think Z were me, you, and JB at one time we were doing like drafting engineering work on these tables, trying to optimize it at one point.
Oh, because that worked out perfect because we just had the right amount of space. This year we're gonna have to look at it a little different, but I still think Indie gives you that outside wall, which helps.
Yeah,
I saw the setup that we should use.
Okay,
let me put it that way.
And as far as knowing your venues, know if you need to bring a table or two, because this venue gave us one. I think it was maybe an 8-foot table or a 6-foot table.
That Paul almost broke with all his books.
No, we didn't use it, man. I brought 2 6-foot folding tables, and we came in the next day, and it was sagging. I mean, I thought I was going to break these tables, and they weren't mine. I was thinking, holy shit. So I unloaded those tables, gave them a break, but there was a hefty bend of those tables for sure.
Also assume that the con is going to overestimate the size of your booth. A 10 by 10, you might get a 9 by 9.
And
That's
extra, and all the feet matter, man. And I guess
yeah.
I guess I can segue into building a wall. I know 1 year Z built a wall, which is he still uses, right? You still use that wooden wall, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's got some problems, but it works for what it is.
Yeah, and it's good, and it's a good wall. I built mine out of PVC, and I used it at Toledo for the first time. The rack, and you can look back. I'll post it if I have to on the Tales from the Flipside plus page. But what Paul? What did it take up? Like 2 feet, maybe?
Well, you had 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them.
2
No, I
feet.
meant like depth wise. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. 2 feet, 3 feet, something like that. 2.5 feet.
Yours is
By
definitely more mobile.
Oh yeah, dude, and it's 4
It was
feet.
nice.
Yeah, and then like you can pop it off, and you can only do like if you want to do 1 row or you want to do 3 rows. It doesn't, it's very mobile. It's very modular too. So, but it worked out really well, guys. I was happy. I guess.
How many books can you fit on it?
Slabs you only can fit 5 across because they're slabs, so you can fit 25 slabs on a rack. But that's a lot of slabs, man. I mean,
I would. Here's another tidbit about slabs. They don't sell that well at cons.
I tend to disagree. I sold 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Really?
We sold
I
those
crushed
slabs.
it, dude.
My worst. Never mind.
You got to be under GPA to sell slabs.
Oh, or around it. Like for me,
Around it,
and I'll talk to you guys. So I'm around eBay when it comes to slabbing. Like we'll say like Preacher One. I don't know, like a 9.0. What's it like? $150 maybe. I don't know what the prices are right now. Like $150. I'll be at like 140, 130. I mean, but I bought it low. I mean, it depends if you bought it low or not.
Yeah, if you got slabs that are competitive, they'll look. But man, it's tough because they take up a lot of space.
You got to give them the handshake, man. The handshake, and you say you really want that book, man.
Yeah, how many raw books can you fit on your wall on the same row versus the 5 slabs?
Probably. How many, Paul? How many would you like? 10?
what would you say? 5 slabs?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 or 10, 8 to 10.
Well, and that's kind of like how
it
we
depends how if you want to show the full cover, if
Yeah.
you want to have them overlap a little bit.
we overlapped them a little bit.
And here's another note: is be able to adjust. We were at that con this week, and it was so crowded. We didn't, we'd set up, and we had our slabs kind of inside in a box, and we had some on the wall. But we had a box inside towards the wall, and nobody looked at them because they weren't visible. So we kind of flipped it that next day and put the slabs sticking out into the aisle almost, and people look through them like 10 times as more often.
We had slabs in the boxes, and people, I don't know if they knew they were there. I mean, I sold some out of my box, but it just seemed, I don't know.
I know. I told him, Paul.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I got slabs on the wall, and I got slabs right here, and I pointed right next to the table, like right next to the wall. I had the table right next to the wall, and it was like right there. So
I like to dummy proof label on my boxes. I will put this has it in I made some really nice signs this time, said like what kind of books were in them, what the prices are.
signage is huge, man. It really is.
I'll label this one trades or sets. I killed it on sets this time, but I think it's just because it said that's what there were. People were looking for them. Oh, I need those.
See, I think I was going to say, going back to where you're saying that you don't think slabs sell as well, I would just say that I think that's probably just because raws tend to, there's always some discretion as to grade and what the actual eBay price is, but slabs have it's a definite what it's selling for. It's definite what the grade is. And so I think people probably just don't think, and dealers generally don't negotiate as much on slabs just because it's more finite. Wow. Raws, there's that playroom of like, yeah, it's probably a 9.4, maybe it's a 9.6, but yeah, I'll sell it to you at the 9.2 price just to move it. But if it was a hard 9.6 or something like that, you're gonna be like, no, I know what I can get for it.
Well, and I heard too, a lot of people, at least when we went to Toledo Comic Con, me and Paul were like, I want to read it, I want to flip it, I want to flip through it. That's the other thing.
Well, the price entry point is higher on the slab too. So somebody that maybe is going to buy a raw can get it for even 30% less for similar grade. They're going to want to do that, and the number of people that are carrying, $100 are going to want to spend $100 or $200. It's less. I sold some slabs, but they were mostly bargain slabs.
Jumping back to knowing your venue or knowing your booth, I'm really glad I set up on Saturday or Friday because the doors were open 12 to 8. But standing in the booth talking to Dino, was like trying to figure out a real life Rubik's cube. So I was like, I don't know, where are we gonna put the wall, tables?
Let's add to that. I wasn't even in the state, so
Yeah.
Oh, you got your own Paul's problems. So you had to talk to Paul through it.
That was real life Paul's problems. I'm like, so you're looking at the wall's behind me, and the left is pretty good. I'm sure Dino had a blast, but it all worked out. The booth looked awesome, and we did very well on sales. Another Paul's problem that I had from the con was Saturday. My phone, I have a new phone coming in the mail, but I have two phones. I have my work phone because I'm on call for some stuff, and I have my personal phone. My personal phone is acting up, like breaking up, and I have to like clear cache and yada yada. So I set an alarm clock on my personal phone, and I also set it on my work phone. And come Saturday morning, my work phone goes off, and I'm laying there waking up. I'm like, why didn't my personal phone go off? So I looked at it, and it had every other day of the week except Saturday selected for my alarm to go off. Like, if I wouldn't have had the second phone, I would have been fucked. Nino would have been calling me like, hey, man, the con's starting. The con, doors are opening. I'm here.
You would have been a new Ben S. I would have just sold your books and you wouldn't have been there.
It would have been that was a near miss Paul's problem on that one.
Well, that actually segues into another thing that you got to be cognizant of. It is phones and what you're doing, whether you're buying or selling. Turn your phone on to low power mode as soon as you walk in. Turn the screen down to as dim as you can handle. Because if you're selling, you're going to need to swipe it. You might need to look at something if somebody's wanting to sell something to you. Well, bring some battery charge packs.
There you go. That's what I'm going to say. I bring the battery charge packs. I know Paul had one, so we just hooked that up. And you know what's funny? You guys will be jealous, but we had an outlet too.
We did.
You don't get that at most cons. You're not going to get lucky.
No, power is what, $20?
And they
usually you have to pay extra.
This one was charging an extra $100 for one with a power. And IndyCon to run you power is like $400 or something crazy.
Yeah, it's expensive because they got to get union guys out there.
So what we do is we go by the bathrooms, and there's like a plug by the bathroom, and we just kind of put our phone out there, and
it was good.
Well, remember that one IndyCon that we did that, and the third guy with us, he did that, and somebody walked off with his charger.
Yeah.
Oh man, but we went to Baltimore, a couple of the guys, and Sean told me to turn mine to low power because I didn't think about it. Because you get in some of these buildings, this one was in the basement of a convention center.
You're not going to get signal.
There's no signal, so your phone is just searching. It'll die in like 2 hours if you don't take some preventative measures. Thankfully, Kenyon had some kind of mega charger. I don't even know what it was, but
a brick.
I had these little ghetto chargers. He had this thing that's like, it'll charge like 8 phones at once.
It's probably diesel powered. Dino, what's the cost of a wall for somebody who doesn't have one?
It all depends on type of material. Z, do you know what yours costs for out of wood? Like,
I use some almost scrap 2x4s, so it didn't cost much because I built like two kind of T's and turned them upside down, and then just attached them at 3 points. So it's kind of a legs facing front and down, or front and back, and then up post, and then 3 crossing, and then I just put some hooks on. And hooked the wire kind of closet things on.
Yep.
So most of your cost is in those wire closets, which are, I don't know, like $8 or $10 a section. So under $100.
I mean, that's the same thing with me. My PVC rack was like $100 probably. I mean, and I had to buy some, like, I bought a chop saw because it was easier than trying to manually cut all the pieces and stuff like that. And then like a DeWalt drill so I could drill holes in the PVC. And I just use zip ties.
Yeah, zip ties are the best.
Oh, it took, dude, it took what, me and Paul maybe like 15 minutes to 30 minutes to knock up 2 of them and put our books on it. And it took me 5 minutes to knock it down with all the zip ties. It was amazing.
Once I figured out how a zip tie works.
Well, I mean, after the 10th hole, he finally got it going. So,
well, that's it. Be aware of your venue. We got hosed on this one. It was like I said, it was a theater, an old theater, beautiful, but there was only one elevator in or out because it was on the second floor. One freight elevator, and there was a small, skinny, like fire stairs.
Wow.
And so like loading in, they loaded in over like a day and a half. Load out, we had to bust butt and go before the dealers kind of backed up on that thing.
So never go to a con on the second floor. Wow.
Well, yeah, be aware. I mean, like IndyCon, they just open up the whole back wall of garages and you're cool. I mean, there's problems because too many people trying to get to the same parking lot. But
Yeah, Toledo was the same way. That's what Toledo did.
Yeah, the second day we'll have to tell those stories.
have an exit plan. Let's go with that. Like Mike and I at least thought, okay, we know we don't have that much stuff. I can get this wall down in about 8 minutes. Let's get our books. One of us packed the long boxes first, get them on the cart, and let's hit that elevator the first couple people. If we get that down, we could carry the rest down if we had to.
Another wall idea, or another big wall tip, is make sure that it's not tip, or make sure it's tip proof or tip resistant. We had Dino's, and I mean in IndyCon, we had somebody leaning on the back of Dino's wall, and so we got some sandbags and stuff to prevent that.
This year is rock solid, boys. Rock solid.
Yeah, you got to put a little weight at the bottom.
Yeah, you can hit this thing. You can hit this thing with a high-low. It's not going to tip, probably. I mean, so.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a gentleman a couple booths away from us who had a wire rack just leaned against the wall, and I was waiting for it to slide out. And I mean,
yeah, no sandbags on it, no nothing. Like nothing.
Wow.
He had a lot of faith in gravity and grip on that. It didn't fall though, so props to him. And also, Indy guys will be impressed to know that I didn't go to the bathroom on my. Dino went to the bathroom before me.
I did. I was surprised, man. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I went once.
But how many after the initial?
He held it. He wasn't like a little grandma. I was surprised.
He also wasn't drinking malt liquor.
Well,
hey, man, don't tell anybody that. Indy though, it was my first con. I was really nervous. I was drinking tons of water and just fidgety. Like I had to be doing something like those stupid little fidget boxes they have that you see on Facebook, the press button twist, and I just had to do something. I was nervous.
Let's talk about that, dude. So if you're setting up for the first time or the 100th time, you're always going to learn something. Like the first time, it's always nerves, and you're always going to be thinking you're not prepared or you're over preparing. It's like you just go with the flow. Like this year, I bought a clear tub, so I throw all my con crap in it, so it's in the clear tub, and it just sits there in my basement, and I just pick it up, and I know everything's in the con that I need, and good to go.
Except that piece of the wall.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that, man.
we had a piece of the wall missing, but it all worked.
I MacGyvered it and threw some nylon rope on it, and it was fine.
I lost my train of thought. Another random con tip as a seller is have someone with you, because you're going to have to go to the bathroom. You're going to have to, whatever.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Toledo girls, dude. You want to talk about that?
Go ahead, man.
Okay, so we get here and we set up and we're cool, and we met this cool dude, Seth. Seth, was it Moose? What's his name?
The Moose.
The Moose. So Seth the Moose was next to us, and he was doing some art. He's like, "Hey, you mind watching our booth?" No problem. Well, these two girls show up, and I don't think they were vendors. Let's just put it that way.
Their moms or dads or whatever had tables set up.
So we set our extra table like out towards the bathrooms they were remodeling, nobody could go into, and we just kind of pushed it out there. Next thing you know, these two girls show up, and they're maybe 9 or 10, show up, drop some loose leaf paper on the thing and start drawing out things and start selling it right then and there. Then they come over and say, "Hey, bro, can you watch my booth for me while I go to the bathroom?" I'm like, I guess. She's like, "Do you think we look like real vendors?" I'm like, "Maybe you need a sign." So
it was great. It was a good time. I mean, didn't cost them $200 a booth.
I know, right?
So that was fun. I mean, my wife and daughter came on Saturday, so that they let my daughter draw on some paper and stuff. So that was cool.
Yeah, his wife was really interested if we were making any money, because she did say that a divorce was imminent if she didn't we didn't sell books. So.
I honestly, man, I put a lot of time into the show, and I told my wife, because her worry was, is it going to take this much time every time you do a freaking show? Because that was the problem. Like, is it going to take you X amount of days every time you say you're going to do a Comic-Con? And no. So I put it in, and that's another tip that we didn't say is I put it, they're all priced. So I said, honey, they're all priced. They're all sorted. If I do a con in 3 months or 6 months or
Even
tomorrow
a year, dude.
or whatever, it's already priced. And if it's overpriced, I can make a deal.
Yep.
So the worst I'd have to do is sort that miscellaneous stuff alphabetized, and I'm good. I mean, not to turn it into a museum, but I don't have books that would really turn into museum stuff. So I went hard on the time, and I reassured my wife that, from now on, they're good. They're all priced.
You can always write on a sign and say 20% off, 25% off this box or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, and we can talk about repricing too, because I go year to year. Every year we go to Indy, and I don't reprice stuff. I mean, it might go down, it might go up.
And just take a peek.
Yeah, I mean, I go through I thumb through my boxes to make sure I don't have like a Nix 3 that I bought 10 years ago. But, so I mean, I thumb through my boxes, but I'm not going through looking up every book and like going on eBay and like, oh man, instead of $5, I should charge $6. Like, it's like.
And that was part of my prep is I looked a lot of stuff up on eBay and priced at or below eBay slabs and whatnot. So it took time, and that time was a Paul's problem. But
I have a personal theory that I tried to price at easy increments. I don't do a lot of like $7, $8, $12. I like to do a lot of $5. $10.
Yep, and we'll talk about that
easy.
It's changed too, so let's change is actually our next topic, so that's a good segue. So
so
we should talk about the magazine rack that you guys questioned and Mike Z questioned, but how many $5 and $10 books I sell off that thing is insane.
Okay. So you're trying to make this about you. I see what this is. Okay, this is the Z story.
No, I'm just saying it's all about display. Get the most books out in front of you. You can.
First of all, you stole your grandma's spice rack and you're claiming it as a magazine.
It's a magazine rack, man.
Free Life magazine with every purchase.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I did question it in the beginning. He's like, you know what? Do you know what? The first couple times we did Indy, he's like, I'm going to bring this magazine rack. And this thing is like a piece of wood from like 1960.
Oh, it's like 50 years old.
Okay. So he shows up with a thing. I'm like, dude, I really don't want to be associated with this thing. But to his credit, he stuck with it and he threw some books on there. And it's like, and what we do is we throw it right in the front booth. Like if this time we kind of close off the booth, but
yeah, we might not have room for it this time, but
yeah, but it's a good thing. It's like right in front, and it's like little books. I mean, it's like $5 books, $10 books, that are just right up front. That when you want to give away some free cornbread, Z, a little bit.
Well, like books people don't know they're looking for, but if they see it, they want it. Like I put a couple of Harley Quinn books out there, which people ask for, but like Moon Knight ones, some of these things that people, if they have to dig for, they maybe don't know they're looking for. But I've had people just walk by and go, I need this. Or
the big thing is, those are the books that, hey, if the artist is here and he's signing books, throw those out there. Like if the artist is say somebody's around and an artist is there and he's like, say Adam Hughes is there, throw some Adam Hughes books up there.
Oh yeah.
Blanks.
Yeah, blanks.
Blanks. Yep.
But it's all about display. I tried something new this year and put my signs on the back of my boxes, kind of standing up in the back, and I put Golden Age bags on front that I could flip in and load books so I could display them. It didn't work out because of how the crowds were, but it's all about getting books in front of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't have to look for it. They see it. They can see it across the room. That's the book I need.
I'll have to get this. I'll have to record the specific part, but there are a couple inventions that I want someone to make one day. The first is the bag and board machine that bags and boards for you, no matter the size. You can call it the weeder holder.
That's good.
Patent pending.
Patent pending for this podcast.
I think that bag's something else, Paul.
And the second
Trojan may want a piece.
The second is a device that lifts your books up, that you can adjust the width of, but it lifts your books up. Those books that you see dealers pull up a few inches, so they'll see, oh look, like Z's rack. but it's through the boxes. Like, oh, look at that book, look at that book. But it holds them there because those books always slide down all the time. But something that you can like slide the book into, and it'll lift them up that way. And then the third is something that'll fill the space in a long or short box to hold your books up from falling flat on their face. That's length adjustable. So those are my 3 inventions that I could retire
Somebody
on.
makes that with like wood.
Yeah,
like
I saw
just
that.
a screw type thing. You can do it with. I used those wonderful comic portfolios to do it the other day. I was at the Chican and just threw one of those in back when the box got empty.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people do all the
I do bubble wrap
boxes and turning stuff on their sides. And I saw a guy today who glues the bags and boards. He glues the boards together and then glues them to the side of his boxes to divide the boxes up so he can flip through them for, I think it was his PC collection, versus stacking them in there so you can't even pull the book out. But those are my 3 inventions. If any engineers are out there, patent pending, you can.
When you're talking about pulling the books up in the long boxes or short boxes, does anybody have like a general idea? Do you really think that helps, or because I always think of it as that those books are going to get bent by kids that are like yanking at them.
I think you don't do that to $70 books, but I think you do it on like your just give them an idea of what's in there.
Right. Wait, you guys don't do it on Sleepwalker ones?
No kids there were those kids we talked about. No kids looking through my books this year. I remember last year at Indy, those kids were coming up to me and they're saying, "Is this book valuable? Is this book worth a lot?" They bought a book and then they came back an hour later like, "Can we return this for something else?" Like, oh my gosh.
Oh no, talk about the one kid who hung onto your table and almost destroyed it.
Dude, yeah, those tables were already bending from my weight of my books. And then, I mean, kids will be kids, so whatever. But this young kid, 3 years old or 4 or whatever, came up and grabbed onto my short box edge of it and tried to pull himself up to look at it, and the whole table was about to give. And so, I mean, you gotta give your customer service, but you also have to watch your stuff. And Dino, you had some people come up and almost tip your whole wall over.
Oh man, I would have pulled a tray. There might have been some bows coming out on that one.
They were taking books off our wall to look at them. I mean, the etiquette was missing.
Yeah, I mean, and they were pulling like Walking Dead 19s and like big boy books. Man, I'm like, oh man,
big boy books off to look and I mean, it's the parents. The parents helped and kept it under control. But I was saying some chants in my head and trying to keep things up, hold the wall up mentally. But I mean, overall the show was great.
Let's talk about change. How much change you bring? Because I want to kind of go back to Z's point of keeping everything like when you price stuff like odd numbers, $7. I mean,
price your stuff. If you're gonna price something at $3, round it up to 5 or down to 1. I mean, just stay within the area. My change for Indy, my change for this year was about $200. So I did about 10 $10 bills, 10 $5 bills, and like 50 or so $1 bills. But my Paul's problem, or my Paul story for this one, is I had in my safe at home, I had enough 10s and 5s to cover myself, but I didn't have enough 1s. So I went to the bank and only got 51s out, and the teller just gave me one of those. It was a Friday. It was a Friday, and I just got paid. So the teller just gave me one of those looks, and I almost explained myself, but I was like, just fuck it. Yeah, whatever you think I'm going to use them for.
I'm using them for comic books.
It's a lot dorkier than you think.
Right. So just litter throughout the weekend. That's my life in general. But that's why I have a little notebook. Paul's problems here.
It was impressive. I almost ended up with the same amount of 1s as I started with. I think I started with like 25 and ended up with 28.
Yeah, I think I think you could get away with like $31 bills or something.
No, I think I did. I ran out of 1s. Remember, Paul? I ran out of 1s.
You had ebbs and flows. So if there's more than one of you in a booth, right, you can usually change back and forth. Then you have enough. If you're going to be there solo, I would go to a little more like 50.
Yeah.
And then you always have the dealer next to you who's like, "Hey, man, you got change for this 20."
One thing I did better this year is IndyCon last year. I think I did $1 books, $3, $5, and then up, and I had separate boxes for each. This year I just did dollar books, sets, and then everything else. And I still did some $3 books because there's some stuff that you're like, nobody's going to pay $5, but I don't want to do one.
Yeah.
You know,
I had
bronze and things like that, but I just put them all in the same box. So anything from 3 up to even 100, if it wasn't on the wall, it was in those boxes. And I got a little more traffic on those books because people just naturally ignore a $3 box for some reason, or $2 box. They want $1 or they want the nice stuff. Nobody's looking for that middle of the road stuff.
Yeah, when I was in Indy, I had my sign literally said $3 to $5 miscellaneous, and it was just a ghost town. Nobody went in there.
No.
There was good stuff in there, but it's so strange. The whole marketing, people who are like marketing professionals in that area, and there's a hell of a science to that stuff because it all psych and psychology and all that stuff. It's true. It works.
Yeah, I mean, I just labeled. I've made signs that had my store name, and then I put silver, bronze, golden, pre-code horror. I listed anything that could potentially be in there, variants, keys, and I put it all on a sign and just said $3 and up.
I don't know why you made all the signs. I just thought you did westerns.
I did put westerns because I needed one more word to fit, but I don't think I had any in there. I think I had one book that was a western.
Have a restored section.
Yeah.
The married comic section.
You guys know how many restored books I have?
Zero.
But see, it doesn't matter. Everybody now thinks you have
sold
a
them all.
Do you know how many westerns I have? Like
What's your Grail Western book? Since everyone thinks that's only thing you collect now.
I don't really look for them. There's some cool covers. But some of them, there's some that kind of almost cross pre-code horror. There was one I posted in the chat the other day that I don't even want to really talk about, but it was like one of the most offensive ones I've ever seen.
I was going to ask if you bought it.
I'm looking for one.
I thought you had a beat on it.
There's some online, but I'm going to look for a higher grade one. But really, there's not a ton in there. There's some that I think it's the ones that cross genre. Like nobody's buying those photo cover ones of, Roy Rogers and all that.
Oh,
one that seems to sell really well, which I've watched a few. I don't really want it, but like Lone Ranger one and
some guy at Toledo was asking about Lone Ranger stuff. Z.
Lone Ranger seems to defy a little logic. Not all of them, but the early ones. I think John Wayne covers do pretty well still. But I more apply the same rule as anything else. Is it a cool cover?
Yep.
Unless it's a key, but there's only a handful of Western keys, first appearance of certain people, but even most of them are irrelevant now.
So Mr. Mike Zercher put up in the chat, don't forget about grocery bags or something to give people to carry their books away.
Oh yeah.
So that's huge because we forgot that one year. And how many times did somebody say, "Hey man, do you got a bag?"
Oh yeah, especially if you're bundling books. Like I was trying to get people to buy $20 and $31 books, and they're like, "Dude, I got to carry these."
You don't ever really want to tell a customer no.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say those bags that you guys made were awesome.
Yeah, those are pimp. We just brought grocery bags. Like we'd saved up 100 of them and just brought them, but we were out after the first day.
I mean, they were cheap too. I mean, Scott, how much did they cost?
I think it was like $60 or $70 maybe for the whole box.
And they got so in case nobody knows, so we did a custom bag that has our logo on it, and then it has our website at the bottom, and then I think it's on both sides, and then they can fit. I think Paul, 10 books in there, maybe 10 raws in there probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I mean, it can hold a lot, and they're pretty heavy duty, and they're pretty good Mylar, plastic wise, and. There were people who came to the con last year and said, "Hey, you got any bags I can borrow?" I gave them like a crap ton of mine. I'd rather them have them advertise my name than his. So bags are important. Grocery bags. I know some people do grocery bags, some people do other bags, but yeah, a lot of people are asking about bags all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people need to realize especially at a con, like there's a lot of people doing what you're doing, and it's the little things like that are going to set you apart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I made a lot of my sellers on sales on like end of day 1, end of day 2 on people coming back around. They're like, I bought some stuff, but you got the best stuff at the con, or you guys got the best prices, or you guys worked with me. I'm coming back.
And you could, and I'll tell you right now, you can tell a CBSI table from any other table because we'll work with you. We had like even our booth. I think we had the best books and we were the cheapest. I don't know how many people come by, especially at IndieCon too. You guys are the cheapest and nicest guys out there. I mean, that
And
speaks
have all the
volumes.
stuff that nobody else has.
Yeah,
Except that guy that keeps going to the bathroom.
yeah.
Or Tony that's not there.
Well, Tony didn't count. Tony waters the con.
Tony sold the biggest book there within like the first 3 minutes of IndieCon, and he was like, "Okay, guys, I'm done. I'm just gonna go buy some books or something."
He walked away.
And walked away.
He came in when he needed to sit down for a while.
Yeah. So that's a good point. I know one of the guys, JM Galen 76 was talking about Comic Collateral app has helps for pricing on the fly and spot trades.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that thing is intense. I didn't need GPA or Go Collect to my life, but man, because I would message Dino maybe once a month on something.
Yeah, it was a pain. Yes.
It wasn't like I looked at things every day. Now it's
That's
like now I'm like crack. I'm checking things. Anything I'm looking at or anything I'm selling. Where am I at?
Yeah, the Comic Collateral app was nice.
Yep.
I used it a couple times for pricing, but as far as pricing goes, Dino or Z, I guess, what'd you pay, if I can ask, for your table registration at the con?
So ours was 300, which I thought was fairly steep for a first time con, not knowing what we were getting.
Yeah, elevator cost.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an expensive room, but most of the time they're trying to make their room rental on the dealers. Like that's what they're trying to cover, and then they make their money on everything else. But IndieCon I think is still reasonably cheap at $450 for 10 by 10.
Yeah,
this is 300 for 10 by 10, which is 2 days. It wasn't 3 days, but they packed in the people, which almost was too many people. I'm pretty sure we lost sales just because people got so tired that they didn't. There was only 40 vendors, but they were just snaking in a line around. You get a stroller in there or something, and it just stopped, or somebody stopped to look. So people would kind of get to the back side where we were and just be like, I just want to get out of this room. I just want to get out of this room and not look. So look at your setup. Like there were only 6-foot aisles, which is like the OSHA minimum. A con should have 10-foot aisles. I mean, it just should.
Yep. And especially
you need
like
a row
the bigger
each way.
shows. Yeah, the bigger shows usually have that.
A small show should have 8 to 10-foot aisles because you need enough room for two traffic each way, and then kind of a middle lane for all the weird stuff that pops up.
Paul, what did let's talk about our what did ours cost?
Yeah, so my internet was was dragging, but I just pulled it up. So a wall table, ours I think was 200, but the corner tables I thought were a little more.
225 maybe or something.
Yeah, that's not bad.
250, but I think there's a limit. I mean, if you're going to set up a show, especially for the first time, I wouldn't go for I mean, there were guys. What Motor City Con is almost, I think, almost $1,200 for a table.
Jesus.
That's why. Okay, so
Baltimore's like that.
yeah, let's talk about that. So Motor City Con is my home con, out in Detroit. Here, it's actually in nowhere. Livonia, Detroit. So yeah, so it's out here, and you can tell why the cons don't, the prices are outrageous because you're spending $1,200 on a table, man. You got to make your money back, and that's why there's no room to negotiate roughly, and all the books are overpriced. I hardly ever go. I go on a Saturday now. I used to go all 3 days. I just go on a Saturday maybe just to check it out, and I don't even look at comics half the time. That's how bad it is. But
no, I don't think I could pay more than $500, and we split it up amongst a couple of us most of the time we do something.
Yeah, if you're going to a show alone, you got to. I mean, you
gotta have some serious inventory to move.
Yeah,
and you got to hustle.
And I know these guys don't all like it, but if you're going to a con, dollar books sell. They move. They usually cover my my be in there and such. And then the big books are kind of the gravy. So I don't know. Just consider your crowd.
Yeah, I did. That's what I would say too. I try to sell one big book, and then the rest of them, I kind of, like you said, I hustle on the smaller books, and if I would do one big book, I might have a really good con. So
yeah, I did not have my big book. I think the biggest sale I made was maybe $100.
oh, we made some monster deals.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard you guys did very well. No, we just didn't have anybody buying big books.
I think as far as dollar bins go, if you're selling at a con or even if you're buying at a cons, go if it's a 3-day con, maybe skip Saturday, go Friday, scope it out, go Sunday for the deals. But I didn't think I'd do this because I didn't do it in Indy, or at least I wasn't offered. But I sold my dollar boxes bulk.
I did too.
My Paul's problem with that is that I didn't glance through my dollar boxes before I just threw a lid on them and let them go. But the guy, I mean, the guy was
that way.
the guy, yeah, exactly. The guy, I mean, the gentleman was paying $30 a long box of dollar boxes or dollar books. So I figured, I mean, why not? Because my goal,
You didn't have to haul it home.
I didn't.
Exactly.
And long story short, when I was loading up my car, if I had that long
wouldn't have fit,
and
dude.
a hock, yeah, the long box, and it wouldn't have fit. So it in the long run, it was a blessing. But $45 for a long box and a shorty, and they weren't even packed tight. Take it, because
No, if they've been dug through for a show or two, there's nothing people want.
No,
yeah, it was good. It was fine by me. My
that
goal
goes back
is,
to dumping your inventory when you can.
Well,
right.
I will tell you this: unless you have Harley, Deadpool, Flash, Wonder Woman, and a couple others, it's slow and random.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not quitting comics. I'm trying to step it up a little bit. The dollar boxes are draw customers. That's a tip. Dollar boxes draw customers, and then they look through your other stuff. So my dollar boxes are gone now. So now if I set up at a con next week, I only have my miscellaneous, $3 to $10 books before things kind of. I think I have some dollar books in my Batman and stuff, but
I think you just bring a few to get people in.
yeah. But so Sunday sales is a tip.
Oh yeah, I was trying to liquidate because I didn't want to haul out of that elevator. We had marked all the dollar boxes, 2 for $1, and you get people come in at 2 for $1, they will buy some books.
Yes.
It's still better than bulking them out.
Yeah, on that thought, bulk, as far as bulk, I mean, what is a general price for those who may not know of what what should a long box go for?
If you're buying, you want to try and be under 40 unless it's stuff is great. I messed up. I overpaid for one that Dino sent me to just because I drove all the way up there, and the guy wanted 60 a box, and I'm like, all right, I'll do 60 just because I've already wasted the gas, and I wasn't going to deal with it more. But anything more than that, you're not going to make your money back unless there's some serious keys in there or some lucky books.
Yeah, I didn't fight the guy.
If you're selling off, to me, I sold off at 25 or 30.
Yeah, 30. I said so he eyed me and he said, I had a long and a shorty there, and he said 30. I said 30. I said, what do you pay? And he said 30 a long. I said, all right, well, what about 45 for these? And he said, deal. So
yeah, I gave him four boxes too, or 3.5, and he gave me 100. So I'm like done.
Yeah. I think common after show buy is 25 or 30.
And the other thing, what did I have? I had another thing as far as selling. Don't psych yourself out and get too excited and let books go right away either. Someone comes up to you and they're like, oh, I'll give you $40 a long box, and you're like, whoa, yeah, go ahead, take it. And then later you're like, oh, what was in there? Or as far as not looking back is one thing, but I know my biggest sale was I had a Werewolf by Night CBCS, I think it was 7-0.
Yeah, it was a 7.
And this guy just came out of nowhere, and it kind of blindsided me because he's like, how about 500 cash and these books in trade? And it just kind of caught me off guard. Like,
And you said, Dino, I need help.
I did. I did. I didn't know. I was like, I have no idea. So the only mistake I think I made, because he had a bag with him, is not asking him what else was in the bag for him to trade. But I mean, I got 500 cash. I got a Preacher 1, and I got a X-Men 12, which sold within 20 minutes. And that put me up to almost 600. And then the Preacher Razzed, and then I have the ASM. What issue is that, Dino? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a 135, the Second Punisher.
Yeah, Second Punisher, which went out for a nice tan in the sun. So it's not the greatest copy, but already within
book.
Yeah, already within a few days, I'm up to my close to my 700.
Nice.
So I mean, don't psych yourself out and let things go. But if someone comes up to you with a good deal, just take a breather. I'm thankful.
Or say, hey, come back later. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, and research it. But yeah, I'm thankful Dino was there, because it just blindsided me. Like because I priced the book at 700 for a 7.0, which is for CBCS, which is high. I priced it to not sell because that was a semi PC book that I didn't want to let go. And then a guy comes in and he's like, $500 in these 3 books. I was like, I don't. Let me
can't say no.
Right, and I couldn't say no because I'm there to sell.
Yeah.
And PC, for those who don't know me, is Turtles, and it wasn't Turtles. Yeah, it's a key book. It's a cool book, but
$700 is $700.
Yeah,
And we thought that wasn't going to move. And I was telling Paul, somebody had a 9.0 in that book. I said, if that doesn't sell, we should go over to the other booth and trade that 7.0 for that 9 over and give him a couple hundred extra bucks, and you might have a 9.0.
That would have been nice. I didn't see the 9.0 till later, and if you told me, I must have just been in the zone or something. But so that my regret was not asking what was in the bag, and then not knowing that the other Werewolf by Nights were out there to trade. But those 2 points aside, I got my asking price, which is amazing.
And I always do that too. When people come to my booth, I always ask, "What do you got in your bag, man?" If you have a bag, I always want to know. Not go. Hey, you mind me asking what's in your bag? And they're like, "Oh, I got some Deadpool, or I got some Wonder Woman." I'm like, "Okay, I know what you're." Or I always ask, like the kids, and I see a lot of kids starting to read too. And I always say, "Hey, what are you reading?" Stuff like that, and give away books and stuff like that. It's like $1 books. I don't care. I'll give them away.
Right. Or if they come to you and they're like, "Oh, I'm just browsing." Well, all right. What are you reading right now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all about interacting and making them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I will say, not to anybody from Toledo that's listening, but this is just a show in general. I brought some hand sanitizer, and every now and then I go over there, sneak a pump, and just because you itch your nose or whatever.
Money's dirty.
Money's dirty, and shaking hands is dirty.
I was deadly sick last year in Indy, man. Like afterwards,
I'm what told Paul to bring the hand sanitizer, man, because I had probably 4 colds at once.
Yeah. So anywho, I go home Friday or Saturday night and I use this a lot, and I was like, man, my hands kind of hurt a little bit, and it felt like I dipped my hands in fire ant nests. Just burning like no other on the top of my hands because I rubbed it so I ended up using my wife's disposable gloves that she uses for dyeing her hair, and just caked my hands in lotion to put those gloves on I fell asleep with them on because it was so bad. But
I revised my thought on that because I did the same thing, except I brought some lotion because I knew it would happen, and 3 times during the day I did lotion after you sanitize.
Yeah,
I didn't have that issue. I used the same the hand sanitizer Paul used, and I never got that issue. So
Dino's a stronger man than I am.
That is true.
This is a terrible conversation.
Hey, no, listen, you don't want to be sick for 3 days of work after you go to a con, because then you just
So Sunday I used it again sparingly. I used a small drop, and I only rubbed the bottom of my hands together, and then I just rubbed it on my pants because obviously the back of my hands was burning. But I mean, another tip is bring some hand sanitizer, maybe get some with lotion in it. But another thing that I had on our list today is bringing or selling food.
This was huge, dude. This was the best part of the whole con for Paul.
is I emailed the guys because I'd never been to this con before, so I don't want to bring in beer and start chugging beer behind my counter and get in trouble and get kicked out. So I was like, what is your stance on vendors bringing food? And they're like, oh, vendors, you can bring your own juice or whatever and some snacks and all that, so you're good. So I filled up a cooler with stuff, some Gatorade, water, some snacks, and so right there you could save $10 to $15 a day on food depending on what the prices are.
And Paul's friend brought cookies.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was the biggest thing because kids would come like, hey, you guys want some cookies? And they loved it, man.
and Dino was selling them out of his van.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it had no windows, but it was fine.
Sounds a little creepy.
but yeah, at ToledoCon there was another booth there. Friends of mine, my brother and sister-in-law actually do some horror movies and some local stuff like that. And so they had a booth set up. I think it's One Stoplight Productions, but anywho, my sister-in-law baked us a plate of cookies and brought them over, or had her husband brought them over, and they were good.
I smashed them the first 3 hours, dude.
Yeah, they were good cookies. I mean, not to be creepy or anything, but a couple kids, hanging out, chatting with their parents. They're like, hey, you have cookies over here. You want a cookie? Just to give some out. And I mean, there was enough left over. I brought some home on Sunday, but I think some other questions we had from the con is like, what's the the cost of admission at our con was, I think, like $12 or something like that. So it wasn't too much. What about Z? What was, cost of admission for people at your show?
I think it was 20. I could be wrong, but
you got a big baller show over there, man.
Well, I don't know. I didn't pay enough attention to that detail. We didn't get to walk around. It was kind of weird. But first time shows are a gamble. I just chose it because I could stay at my parents' house for free, and I didn't have to do a hotel.
I guess let's talk about that too. When you sell, you're going to be so jaded because when you go before the crowd gets in, you get to walk around. There's nobody there. That's the best time. It's like comic nirvana. Like nobody's bumping you. You can talk to dealers. You can rifle through their stuff. It's a good time.
You want to tell your indie story, Dino?
Make friends with dealers too, though, because if you know a dealer or two, they'll send people your way. We sent people to. A dealer. I had a friend at this one besides my brother, and he was the only other person that brought a big wall book. Like everyone else was just kind of dollar bins or maybe some $5 books here and there. He was the other guy with good stuff. And somebody's looking, I'd be like, if anybody has it, that guy, go right around the corner and go to that guy.
A lot of guys were doing that for us too. They're like, I had a Batman 12, 9.4 CGC that I had on the booth, and one guy had it up for a raw for 500, and it was a 7.5. It was ridiculous. And I had mine up for $650, and they're like, anybody wants a Batman 12, just go to that dude. So that was a good time.
Yeah. What were the?
I was going to try and sell Paul's, but he didn't want to know the grades.
Yeah, those are going to get resubmitted. I think that was I'm happy on the rest.
That was a shit show.
What indie story you want me to tell?
Oh, the one where the guy was telling people about the cash and buying in his booth. You told me a guy was saying, "Don't come into my booth unless you have cash or something."
Oh yeah. So I heard that from a couple booths away. I walked around one time. Some guy literally told customers, if you don't have cash, don't even bother coming to my booth.
Wow.
Big stuff, man. I was like, man.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
We heard from a couple people that we had the best selection and priced books at our show.
Yeah. I mean, CBSI, when CBSI does a show, it's crazy because people are like, man, you got some books. And then it's like, yeah, we got books. We know the pulse of the market, man. And we're pretty competitively priced. We're not throwing like Trey says on the UD podcast, we're not Silver Age guys or, Golden Age guys who have books that are $800 a pop. It's we're diverse. So.
Yeah, I can't remember the biggest book I saw. I think somebody did, it wasn't an AF-15, but it was another big Spider-Man book. I can't remember. I know that the Werewolf by Night 9.0, I think the guy was asking $1,200 for it. I
saw that Teen Titan 75 for Z, man. That's the first one I saw in a while at a con.
I was about to ask what kind of variants did you guys see? Because I never see them.
I found a picture. It was What is the spider? The ASM with the bottom? It says the chameleon or whatever. It has Human Torch on it.
It's 1, isn't it?
Is it 1? Anyway, it was a signature series, 8.5 for $1,800. I think it's the biggest book.
It's definitely not a 1.
No. What am I thinking?
Chameleon.
It has it's such an iconic cover. Let's go on before we sound too stupid that we don't know.
I would tell you some interesting things about my show and the books. So there was, like I said, there was maybe 10 comic dealers, a lot of toy dealers and things like that. There was only 40 booths, and you know, we put a few arts, a few things like that there.
ASM 1. It's ASM 1. Sorry.
Okay, see, thank you. There was 2 guys, me and another guy that had like Silver Age books and things, and then one other guy that had, you know, he had like a small wall with an ASM 300 and maybe a couple other books, but mostly, you know, $10 keys up. I brought a couple of really nice books, some Silver Age keys and stuff. I had a Jim 83 up. I had some a First Black Adam up. I had The Brave and the Bold that is leaving my house tomorrow. Somewhat bittersweet. But it's funny, the books that got the most attention, nobody bought any because nobody, I think, was really looking to spend that much. But the 2 bigger books on my wall that got the most looks or discussions was Aquaman 1, because nobody's seen it. Nobody ever sees that book.
Was that my Aquaman one?
It is yours because I've sold all my other ones over time.
Okay.
And then the other one, as I had a Tick special edition #1 up, a CGC 9.4. I also had a Raw one somewhere. And I bet I had 20 conversations of people looking at that book, talking about it, thinking about it. I sold all my Raws. I had a few copies of the #1 and the special edition. I sold those. But people just kept looking at that one. People were talking.
That's a cool
about
cover.
But I think that character is kind of hitting the resurgence between the Amazon stuff and you're hitting that perfect time of nostalgia.
So, I mean, that's the same thing with us. We had a lot of people looking for Fantastic Four stuff, which I thought was interesting.
Huh.
I saw a lot of people at our booth was asking about Saga 1. Nobody, you know what? I had a God Country there, #1, and one dude asked me about it. It was very, very, and I mean, I had it for like $50, but whatever. What else? Michonne, Walking Dead stuff.
Walking Dead does well.
Yeah.
It's trying to think of what were the books that people ask for, the unexpected books.
I had a lot of people looking for Garth Ennis stuff, and I got that set thing that you gave me had a lot of the Punisher. It had some other stuff in there, but tons of people asking for Garth Ennis.
Right.
I didn't get that. I got mainstream stuff. Black Panther, a lot of Black Panther stuff.
Yeah,
Deadpool.
The hit books.
We were next to the CW booth. They had the network set up, so I got Flash all day long. Do you have any Flash? Do you have any Flash? Do you have any Flash?
What was your best sale?
It was either First Black Mask or I sold a couple of slabs together. I mean, I think my biggest sale was $70. I had a couple in the 50 and 60, but that's it.
What was your best sale? Do you know? I can't remember.
I did for the company. I did a Saga 1.
Nice.
Then I hooked up with Brian Smith on CBSI. We worked out a deal on that book, and he bought a whole bunch of other books from me. Personally, I think I don't even know. It wasn't even like
the books you sold for me.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, other things. I mean, I made a couple money here and there. I didn't have like home runs. I mean, I just kind of was steady.
Best and worst customer. I mean, my best customer was the guy who bought the Werewolf by Night because that was just out of the blue. I don't think we really had any worst customers. I mean, the people who were bumping into the wall and kind of.
Or how about that dude who just came in and said, he literally, guys, he comes into our booth like Sunday at like very when it opens. He looks at my wall and goes, I have that book, and just walks away.
Right.
Yeah,
and I started laughing because I was like, it just totally caught me off guard. Like, what the fuck? And he looks at me, he's like, why are you laughing? Then it was like getting mad and then walked away. It's like, whoa. Yeah. He made that was kind of off guard. Did you guys buy anything at your con?
About that whole .81.
I did not buy anything because I have problems buying things.
I would say bring spare money though, in case the deal walks in.
Yeah, I snuck off a couple times. I got a
You got some good stuff.
Yeah, I was surprised. I got a Marvel Zombies 1 variant 9/8 just for myself. The one with Spider-Man on the cover.
That's a good one.
And yeah, I messaged you, Scott, about that ASM 569 variant. It was
you scored nice on that.
Yeah, that was a 9.6, and the guy said, you know, I had my vendor badge on, and he was only a few booths down, and this was Sunday.
It was day 2, yep.
Yeah, and it was still there, and I was like, you know, is there any wiggle room? What's your price on this? And he gave me a hell of a deal because he asked, he said, "Is this for you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's for me." And honestly, it was. I don't plan on putting it up on the wall anytime soon or anything. And he's like, I'll give you, I'll sell it for this. And I was like, done. Let me go get my money. And then he had the same seller had a Logan's Run #1, which I just grabbed just because I think it's cool. My father-in-law, that's his favorite movie. So I grabbed that. So those are the only 3 books that I bought. And then I got some stuff from those girls, like stickers and stuff for my daughter and whatnot. But
for $800.
Yeah, right. But those are the 3 books that I purchased. So it was good because I was able to sneak away a couple times, which I knew we did at Indy. We kind of took turns going back and forth. But,
yeah, I don't know. I just don't buy a lot. It's hard for me to buy something that's just, I don't know.
Nobody had turtle books. I mean, there was one box that had newer turtles, so I was just kind of taking a gamble on mainly the slabs, just seeing what was out there, and I got some good stuff. What else? How did Sunday go for you, Z? Because our time change that we lost an hour. I kind of looked at the clock and the doors opened at 10, which was really 9 with the depending on how you look at the time change. But 11 o'clock rolls around and that's really 10 o'clock. Oh, sorry. So that's kind of when people were starting to trickle in with the time change, catching up on their sleep, which I think Sunday's a slow day anyway, but then to throw an hour time change into it, and our show was 10 to 5 instead of Saturday, it was 10 to 6. I think it maybe in the long run cost us a few sales.
And Z's gone. That's okay.
Oh.
I'll talk about Z. So Z,
I'm back.
Z said, damn.
Did you hear what we were saying or no?
I heard something about time change and hours.
Yeah, we're asking how the time change affected your Sunday because people lost an hour of sleep. And our Saturday in Toledo was 10 to 6 and Sunday was 10 to 5.
I think that's always pretty standard. I mean, IndyCon lets out a little earlier that second day. I think it's just so people can get home. I don't know. I was off a wacky sleep schedule, so it didn't really affect me at all.
But I mean, customer-wise, like we saw an influx of people at about 11.
I think there was just so many people at this one, more than they thought, that it moved about the same. I don't think we lost any. I guess one comment about the hours of the marketplace. Ultimately, the promoters don't particularly care how you as a vendor do. I mean, they care enough that vendors come back, but they're working their schedule around their con.
See, at least at Toledo, Marty was pretty cool. He came back to me like 3 or 4 times, asked how we were doing and making sure we come back and stuff like that. I think because we had the best books there, and we were doing them.
Yeah. And we're a new vendor. So he came to check us out as a new vendor, and then he saw what we had, and he's like, "Holy crap!" And then so he came back to check up on us. He had a few books that we were looking at, and so I think Toledo Fantasticon. I think we'll be back for sure. Try and snag that corner.
Yep.
Well, I think if you do a good impression, that helps too. I mean, right. I got recruited for like 4 other cons trying to get people to go, get me to go. But it's, I think if you bring nice stuff, you display nice, you look professional, it goes far. I mean, there's a lot of people that just throw some boxes up and say, "Hey."
Yeah. Go. I'm looking at my little notebook for Paul's problems. I don't even know if I want to do one tonight. We've said so much. You guys want one or not?
What's that?
A Paul's problem story.
Of course we do.
One from the notebooks.
Yeah, let's get a notebook out.
I'm trying to think if I want to. This one's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, are historical Paul's problems better than current Paul's problems?
This one's pretty. This one is, yeah. This one's embarrassing. So we'll go for it. Here we go. Hi, Homer. So that's my intro to Paul's problems. So this one is titled "Bigby Drug Run." Bigby is a local coffee shop that used to be called Beaners until people got offended by the name and they renamed it Bigby. But Cracker Barrel is still Cracker Barrel. So this was back in high school, and I swear to you guys listen to these Paul's problems. I swear I'm not this stupid, but shit just happens. And so I'm meeting my buddy at Bigby for some math tutoring, a classmate. And I'm sitting outside waiting for him to arrive. And this guy comes up to me, and then my car's like right in front of me. And he must have saw me get out of my car or something. And he's like, "Hey, are you a Christian?" Because I had this like bobblehead Jesus on my dashboard. Like, yeah, I guess. I mean, what's going on? Oh, I got locked out of my apartment and I need to go to my landlord's and get my keys. So would you willing to drive me over there real quick and just get my keys and I'll come back? I mean, I'll give you a few dollars. I'm like, let's wait for my buddy to get here and maybe we'll go together. And I'm waiting for this guy to leave, but he hangs out. When my buddy gets there, I'll try and give the short version. This is so, it's fucking embarrassing. So
don't bail out on it.
Man, I have a feeling this is going to end up with pants down or something.
No, nothing like that. No, I wouldn't tell that shit on air. No pun intended. Jesus. So anyway, my buddy gets there. We get this guy in my car, and I'm getting a little suspicious at this point. So I put him in the front seat and my buddy in the seat behind him because I don't know if this guy is going to pull a knife on us or some shit. But I'm just trying to be nice instead of too nice. So we drive to this guy's landlord's house, and he goes inside and he comes out and he's like, "Oh, my landlord's going to charge me $20 for my key. Do you guys have any money?" I'm like, "No."
Jesus.
So my buddy at this point realizes that we're on a drug run, and he's just gives him the money. And so I'm like, and then I realize what the fuck's going on. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what have I gotten myself into? And so he gives him the money. Guy goes inside, gets his keys, comes out. We drive back to this coffee shop, and then he walks off. He's like, "I'll be right back with your money. Thanks for your help." And then I never see the guy again. It's just one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Granted, I have a notebook here of stupid things that I've done or happened to me. But I see this guy again a few months, I don't know how much longer later, at a local Taco Bell late at night. And he walks up to my friends and I with some bullshit story with a couple teeth missing. So I'm like, thank God somebody punched him in the face for me along the line.
No, that's meth, buddy.
Unless they fell out. Yeah, unless they fell out. I'm going to rest at night knowing that someone punched him in the face. And this guy comes here, like, starts spitting his tail, and I start walking up to him like, "No fucking way. You still owe me money from last time, blah, blah," and he runs off into the night. I'm like, motherfucker.
So it's like an urban Yeti. What are you wearing, like in the fucking forest?
I should have taken a picture for Trey. Fucking Yeti.
Urban Sasquatch out there.
Yeah, that was the story. I debated not telling that one because it's so embarrassing, but I took a junkie on his drug run. That's
just a normal day in Detroit, man.
God. Just sad. I feel it's really embarrassing. But anyway, maybe I'll laugh next time.
I mean, honestly, there's worse things you could have done there.
Hey, I didn't end up with my pants down.
That is true.
You did not.
Oh, shit. I got a life of them. I got a whole notebook for these. That's probably the most, I think looking at the list, that's probably the most embarrassing, stupid thing. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Did you really do that? Yes, I did. And I didn't even get any drugs out of it.
Well, that's probably the worst part.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Too young, too naive, too nice.
Yeah. Shit happens.
Yeah. But I don't know. I got a little bit of beer left. Do you want to see what's on your guys' mind for the rest? You got any video game stories? Any nostalgia stuff?
I can talk about video games a little bit, I guess. So Zelda Breath of the Wild is the new greatest game ever.
Oh yeah,
dude! On a Nintendo Switch, I'm contemplating just buying the Switch just for this game, but I'm kind of putting it off. The new Horizon game is supposed to be awesome too. It's like Final Fantasy kind of mix, like fighting style, but it's pretty cool. What else video game wise?
I want to get Mass Effect, the new one.
Yeah,
That was a
Andromeda.
yeah, that was a fun. I played the third one, and that was pretty fun.
I heard the new Tom Clancy game's okay. They're already taking pre-orders.
Ghost Recon?
Ghost Recon. Yep. I heard they're already taking pre-orders for the new Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh, I love that. I love that first one.
I saw it at GameStop. So,
you guys have any problems with your Xbox One original systems? I swear to God, I think these companies put out updates that either overtax your systems or just shut them down to make you buy the next one.
I never had Xbox.
Maybe not with PlayStation. Maybe they're better quality, but my brother has just been having major issues with his Xbox One
Because it's an Xbox.
I think so. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think it's the way.
Yeah, I mean,
the way he shuts it down every time, but it's just
constant. Problem is Microsoft's
issues.
not a hardware company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him I might just save up and buy him a PC, and then we can just play on PC next year or something. Because it's just, I told him I don't think I'll buy another system after this.
You can build your PC pretty cheaply. I mean, the graphics card is the biggest thing. I mean, you know, you can spend $1,000 on a graphics card, but I mean, it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah,
I've done that. I've dabbled in that too. PC games.
I think he likes shooters, and I think just shooters are so much easier on PC. As far as stability and ease of aiming.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
Yeah,
I'll play on PC 10 times more than I would play on a console.
Every time I play Battlefield 1 with him, I just want to rage quit and just destroy my TV because I can't aim, can't hit anything. It just kills me. But I don't know. It is what it is.
I did see somebody play Dark Souls 3 on the Donkey Kong, little like bongos.
Yeah, the bongos.
The bongo set, and I was kind of jealous. Uncharted 4 Uncharted 4 dropped. I'm just seeing what else came out.
Good luck with your Nintendo Switches. I know Dino shared that video a few weeks ago or a week ago about people just
bricking them,
and the stand like scratches the shit out of the screen and.
That's you know what's funny? You can get the Wii U and play Breath of the Wild if you didn't want to buy the Nintendo Switch. I heard from what I've heard online, it's about the same. You just can't. It's not mobile as mobile as the Switch is. But I'm just trying to find out new releases and stuff.
Yeah, Mel V, we need you to post some more game trailers.
Let's see. Morrowind came out. Elder Scrolls. It ships on June 6th.
I still like that Firewatch game. I probably did a really shitty job of describing it, but I think it's on all systems. Firewatch is pretty good. There's another game that I liked. I think it was called Unravel. It's another game called Unravel, which is like a side scroller. That's pretty good. Do you guys remember the side scroller? I don't know if it's an Xbox exclusive. Maybe I have to turn my system on to look it up. It was some guy who, I think the story was he got into some like underground bunker and then found a bunch of like cool stuff like a grappling hook, and I'm doing a terrible job of describing that too. Let me
with the grappling hook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That sounds like an awesome game.
No, I mean
Shadow Complex. That's what it was. Does that mean anything to anybody or no?
Nah.
No, I missed that one.
I have it. I haven't played it yet, but some other small indie games. Limbo. Anybody play Limbo?
I heard Limbo's good. I haven't played it.
No, what's that?
It's a side scroller. It's like a black and white semi puzzle game.
The art's really good on it.
Yeah, there's what was the other? There's a side scrolling zombie game, Deadlight. I don't know what systems that was on, but Deadlight, if you can get that on whatever, that was a really good game as well.
I'm just rolling through kind of right now. I heard Grand Theft Auto they were talking about Grand Theft Auto, a new Grand Theft Auto, but I think I was just in the thing, just seeing what else when it ships.
Comic book wise, I put this up on the trade paperback page. Looks like they're going to be re-releasing some omnibuses. So one of them was that Thor.
The one I got you, Visionaries.
The Simonson one.
Yeah, the Simonson one, the Simonson run. Is that the same thing, Dino?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're
Visionaries, the Simonson run.
Yeah, so they're re-releasing that, which I've wanted for a long time. Which actually the original is up on Amazon for a lot of money and eBay too. So they're re-releasing a bunch of cool trade paperbacks. The Thor really caught my eye, but there's a bunch that don't even have images yet. Like Planet Hulk, Punisher by Garth Ennis, some Spider-Man, and the Punisher was the one that Mel talked about. Punisher something last week.
Is it Max?
I think Punisher Max is on there too. But another cool one that I forgot DVD-wise is Logan. You can pre-order that on Amazon for $20. The like Blu-ray, DVD, digital HD combo.
I think it's Steelbook, right?
I don't know if it's Steelbook. If it is not, then I'll probably cancel my order and get the Steelbook. I don't buy a lot of movies on DVD or Blu-ray, but I think Logan is kind of a must-have. I just pulled it up now, and I guess they have the 4K for $27.99. So that one's the 4K Ultra HD plus Blu-ray plus digital HD. So that's something to look into if you're into movies, and that might be a topic for another podcast. Is the Steelbook movies and DVDs and stuff like that. I mean, the old Disney movies and re-releases and stuff are worth some bank.
Hey, I was gonna also. I think they mentioned it on UD once before, but I remember I saw Josue mention it again. That Hoopla app is incredible. I ran over to the library, got my free library card, and now, I mean, it's the titles that they have for trade paperbacks that are free. I mean, it's like all the new Rebirth. I mean, it's all the first edition Rebirth stuff that, I mean, you can read for free. It's
for how long though? What's the rental period? 30 days or
21 days?
It's not bad if you do one at a time.
Well, yeah, 21 days, and you can check out like 10 at a time, and then after 6 months, I think my library said then you can check out like 100.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, just go to the Hoopla app and read almost all that stuff, all the new stuff for free. Walking Dead's on there, Saga,
Nice.
a lot of really nice stuff it's all free.
Yeah, if you dive into it, you'd be amazed what your local library has. I mean, you say library, and you're like, yeah, when I was in grade school, but yeah, a lot of the digital stuff, obviously comics too, is available through your local library. Is the Hoopla app like specific for libraries then?
I think so, because to log in, you have to use your library card number, and then you like pick use your location service, and it picks the library that's closest, or whichever library that you belong to. And then mine just said, "Hey, you're in the system. Here, go ahead and start checking things out."
Nice. I don't know, guys. You think that's it? I think we're beating a dead horse yet, or
yeah, I think we got it.
I have one last thing, since I don't think anybody's brought it up yet. Have we said Koi yet?
We did mention Koi once.
I said Koi when we were talking about our gambling stuff.
Oh, well, I just want to say I will thank him because he gave a recommendation. I bought the Injustice Gods Amongst Us series. I years 1 to 4 and through year 3. That is a great series. So thank you, Coy, for recommending that.
Sweet.
Yeah, Coy.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Catch you on the flip side.
Later.
Later.
See you.